Chapter 46. The total score is 13,000 points. In theory, there should be 1,300 people who pass, but in reality, it's impossible for so many people to pass. The elder of the Azure Dragon Institute said, there will definitely be some iron tokens that haven't been found yet. Also, there will definitely be some people with higher scores and some people with less than 10 points. Therefore, I estimate that 500 people will pass. That's not bad. I estimate that there will be around 500 people. Xie Kuang nodded. According to past experience, that's about it. But I'm very curious, who will be this year's newcomer king? The Black Tortoise Academy's elder said and then asked a question. Needless to say, this year's newcomer king will definitely be my Duanmu family's genius, Duanmu Ju. Duanmu Jin chuckled, looking very confident. Duanmu Jin, aren't you too confident? My Azure Dragon Hall's Huang Yu has extraordinary talent. He has awakened a 5th-level bloodline and has already reached the 4th level of the Martial Master realm. He is not inferior to Duanmu Ju at all. In my opinion, the newcomer king this time will definitely be Huang Yu. The Azure Dragon Hall's elder said. Although my Black Tortoise Academy's Xie Hong is a woman, her talent is not bad at all. Perhaps, the newcomer king will be my Black Tortoise Academy's Xie Hong. The Black Tortoise Academy's elder said. I don't think so. My Vermilion Bird Hall's In Kai is not bad either. This time, my Vermilion Bird Hall will definitely obtain the position of newcomer king. Xie Kuang said. Duanmu Jin patted his fat belly and said confidently, although Huang Yu and the others are not bad, they are still inferior to Duanmu Ju. Also, Xie Kuang, your Vermilion Bird Hall hasn't obtained the title of newcomer king for 8 years. This time, it's impossible. Stop dreaming. Xie Kuang's face darkened and said, Fatty Duanmu, what do you mean by this? Are you looking down on my Vermilion Bird Hall or something? Yes, so what if I look down on your Vermilion Bird Hall? It's impossible for those trash from your Vermilion Bird Hall to obtain the title of newcomer king. If you're not convinced, how about we make a bet? Duanmu Jin said with a mocking expression. Damn it, let's bet. I'm not afraid of you. Fatty Duanmu Jin, how do you want to bet? Xie Kuang said. Duanmu Jin's eyes flickered as he wore an excited smile and said, how about this? Let's bet on whether the White Tiger Hall or the Vermilion Bird Hall will be crowned the newcomer king. The bet will be 30 spiritual crystals. What do you think? What? 30 crystals? Xie Kuang was shocked. Spiritual crystals contained an incomparably pure spiritual qi. They were condensed from the heavens and earth and were incomparably precious. Only martial grandmasters and above could use them to cultivate. In the market, one spiritual crystal could be sold for 10,000 taels of silver. 30 spiritual crystals were equivalent to 300,000 taels of silver. 30 spiritual crystals for a single bet. What a big bet. What? Xie Kuang, you don't dare to bet with 30 spirit crystals? Duanmu Jin revealed a contemptuous smile. Damn it. Xie Kuang clenched his teeth and said, Duanmu Jin, I'll take the bet. When the time comes, no one can go back on their word. I was afraid that you would go back on your word. Duanmu Jin sneered. A disciple has come out. At this time, the elder of the Azure Dragon Institute spoke. Sure enough, several young people walked out from the secluded Night Mountain range. It's the disciples of the Vermilion Bird Institute. They came out quite quickly. I wonder how many points they got? Duanmu Jin smiled contemptuously. Xie Kuang's face darkened. He then looked at the young people and said, how many points did you get? Take it out and record it. No, not much. A young man's face was a little red. In the end, he took out 2 1-point iron tokens. As for the others, they didn't even have one. Obviously, all their gains were these 2 points. Haha, only 2 points. Your Vermilion Bird Institute has a big harvest. Duanmu Jin laughed loudly. The elder of imparting arts from the other 2 courtyards also smiled. The competition between the 4 institutes was fierce. The worse the other institutes were, the happier they were. Xie Kuang's face was gloomy. Since these young people came out, more and more young people came out. Of course, there were very few who could pass. Only 1 out of 10 people could pass. Those who didn't pass were all dejected. Those who passed were in high spirits. The number of people who passed was naturally the White Tiger Institute. They were ranked first. The Azure Dragon Institute was ranked second. The Black Tortoise Institute was ranked third. The Vermilion Bird Institute was ranked last, just like in the past few years. This made Duanmu Jin laugh even more heartily. Xie Kuang's face became uglier and uglier. Xie Hong is out. Suddenly, someone shouted. The number one expert of the Black Tortoise Institute, Xie Hong, walked out of the secluded Night Mountain range. However, Xie Hong's face didn't look good. She looked a little gloomy. Hee, it seems that martial nephew Xie Hong's results aren't very ideal. Seeing Xie Hong's expression, Duanmu Jin chuckled. The face of the elder of the Black Tortoise Institute sank. 509 points. In the end, Xie Hong's score was 509 points. 509 points is already not bad. However, without that 500-point iron token, it's very difficult to get first place with this score. The elder of the Azure Dragon Institute said. That's not necessarily true. If no one gets the 500-point iron token this time, then Hong Er's 509 points might be able to get first place. The elder of the Black Tortoise Institute said unwillingly. This time, the 500-point iron token has been obtained. Xie Hong suddenly said. What? Who got the 500-point iron token? The four Guild-imparting elders were shocked and asked hastily. Whoever obtained the 500-point iron token could be first place. Naturally, they would pay attention to it. Xie Hong shook her head and didn't answer. Although it had been obtained by Lu Ming, Duanmu Ju, Yin Kai, Huang Yu and the others had been tracking Lu Ming with all their might. A few days had passed and she didn't know who had obtained the 500-point iron token. The eyes of the elders flickered. They all hoped that the 500-point iron token would be in the hands of their own geniuses. The senior disciples nearby were also discussing spiritedly, guessing who would be the first. Yin Kai is out. And Huang Yu. Someone called out. Xie Kuang's heart skipped a beat as he hurriedly looked over. Yin Kai and Huang Yu each led a group of people out of the forest. Yin Kai, you should count them first. Huang Yu looked at Yin Kai and said. Yin Kai's face was extremely gloomy. With a wave of his hand, a pile of iron tokens appeared. Although storage rings were precious and rare, geniuses like Yin Kai still had them. 496 points. Yin Kai's score was 496 points, which was even less than Xie Hong's. Xie Kuang, it seems that your 30 spirit crystals are bound to lose. Yin Kai's score is even less than Xie Hong's. It's impossible for him to get first place. Duanmu Jin laughed loudly. Duanmu Jin, don't be happy too early. Although Yin Kai can't win, Duanmu Ju might not be able to get first place either. Xie Kuang said. Is that so? Anyway, I'm in an invincible position. Even if Duanmu Ju doesn't get first place, I won't lose anyway. Duanmu Jin sneered. At this moment, Yin Kai's expression was extremely ugly. Lu Ming, I hope your 500-point iron token has been taken away by Duanmu Ju. Yin Kai roared in his heart. He would rather Duanmu Ju get first place than Lu Ming. Chapter 47. When Lu Ming and Feng Wu walked out, they did not attract anyone's attention. The four great courtyards elder of martial arts, as well as those old disciples, only took a casual glance and directly skipped over them. 3 of the 4 great courtyards' number 1 geniuses had already appeared, and they wanted to see Duanmu Ju. However, a small portion of people's gazes landed on Lu Ming. They were the people who had participated in the fight for the 500-point iron plate. Especially Yin Kai, his eyes were extremely gloomy. Lu Ming, you're not dead? Could it be that Duanmu Ju didn't find you? Yin Kai stared at Lu Ming and said, Yin Kai's words caused everyone to be stunned. Hearing Yin Kai's tone, could it be that this young man called Lu Ming was a top figure? What is it? Are you disappointed that I didn't die? Lu Ming's mouth revealed a mocking smile. Lu Ming, since Duanmu Ju did not find you, then it seems that the 500-point iron plate is still with you? At the side, Huang Yu asked in a deep voice. What? When Huang Yu said this, everyone was shocked. One by one, they looked at Lu Ming in confusion. Especially the four elder of martial arts of the four great courtyard, it was even more so. Who was this Lu Ming? They had never heard of him before. The 500-point iron plate was actually with him? How was this possible? Many people revealed expressions of disbelief. Of course, didn't you see it with your own eyes last time? Lu Ming smiled slightly, then with a move of his hand, a purplish gold iron plate appeared in his hand. It was the 500-point iron plate. In an instant, everyone's eyes were focused on the iron plate in Lu Ming's hand. Was it really a 500-point iron plate? Who exactly was this Lu Ming? To actually be able to obtain a 500-point iron plate, then the newcomer king this time, would he be? One after another, shocked gazes looked at Lu Ming as they discussed amongst themselves. Ah, good. Lu Ming, good job. Xie Kuang reacted and laughed out loud. He was happy. Originally, when he saw that Yin Kai only had around 400 points, he thought that the Vermilion Bird Courtyard had no chance of becoming the newcomer king this time. At that time, not only would he lose 30 spirit crystals to Duanmu Jin, but he would also be ridiculed by Duanmu Jin. But now that Lu Ming had obtained 500 points, there was hope for him to become the best newcomer king. Lu Ming. It's actually that Lu Ming. My Duanmu clan has so many experts, yet they were unable to kill this Lu Ming? Duanmu Jin was the most shocked. He looked at Lu Ming in disbelief. After a while, he recovered and sneered, Xie Kuang, what are you so proud of? Maybe this Lu Ming just got lucky and got a 500-point iron plate. He didn't get many other iron plates. Do you think you can win with just a 500-point iron plate? We'll know the answer after we count them, Xie Kuang said. Lu Ming, do you think you can beat me just because you have a 500-point iron plate? Watch carefully. At this moment, Huang Yu said coldly. Then, he turned around and waved his hand. A large pile of iron tokens landed on the counting table. So many. Many people's eyes narrowed. Judging by the number, Huang Yu had more iron tokens than Xie Hong. 706 points. In the end, Huang Yu's points reached a terrifying 706 points. Hiss! The sound of people gasping could be heard. Huang Yu actually got 706 points. That's terrifying. Without a 500-point iron plate, he actually got such a score. It's hard to say who will be the best newcomer king now. That's right. This Lu Ming was not well known before. He's definitely not a disciple of a big family. There won't be many people helping him collect points. It's very difficult for him to get more than 200 points alone. Sounds of discussion could be heard all around. Good. The Azure Dragon Institute's elder laughed happily. Duanmu Jin sneered and said, Xie Kuang, I told you that you're happy too early. So what if you got a 500-point iron plate? If you're lucky and a trash gets it, he won't be the best newcomer king either. Let's count them first. Xie Kuang snorted coldly, but in reality he was not confident in his heart. He still had some idea about the situation of the new disciples of the Vermilion Bird Courtyard, but he had never heard of Lu Ming's name before. Lu Ming looked at all of this indifferently. His expression was extremely calm, and the corner of his mouth held a faint smile. He walked to the front of the counting platform, looked at Huang Yu and said, Since you want to see, then watch carefully. With a wave of his hand, a large pile of iron plates appeared on the counting platform. Judging from the volume, it seemed to be even more than Huang Yu's. So many? Everyone's eyes widened and they almost bit their tongues. They all stared blankly at the iron plate on the counting platform. Even Feng Wu was the same. She had always been by Lu Ming's side, but she never thought that Lu Ming would actually obtain so many iron plates. When did he get it? Martial uncle, please help me count them. Lu Ming reminded the deacon who was counting the points. Because the deacon was still in a daze. After Lu Ming's reminder, the deacon finally reacted. 724 points. Adding the 500 points on the iron plate, a total of 1224 points. This was Lu Ming's total score. In the last 2 days, Lu Ming did not go looking for the iron plate. Instead, he had been cultivating and consolidating his cultivation. 1,224 points. This number made everyone's jaws drop. They stood there in a daze, unable to close their mouths for a long time. This was too terrifying. Even without the 500 points on the iron plate, Lu Ming's points were still above Huang Yu's. The Rookie King had been born. There was no longer any suspense about this point. How is this possible? How could this be? I mobilized a few hundred people from the Azure Dragon House and even promised to spend a lot of money to purchase these points from some people. How did Lu Ming manage to obtain so many points? Huang Yu looked at all of this in disbelief as he roared in his heart. Damn it! Yin Kai clenched his fists, full of unwillingness. Haha, Duanmu Jin, I have already told you to wait until the counting is over. Look, the situation is clear now. Xie Kuang was incomparably excited as he laughed loudly. One of his hands kept grabbing his beard. When he looked at Lu Ming, he suddenly felt that Lu Ming was so cute. Xie Kuang Lu Ming. Duanmu Jin gritted his teeth and his face was incomparably ugly. Also, Duanmu Jin, the bet is 30 spirit crystals. Quickly hand it over. Xie Kuang said. Why are you in such a hurry? Now that everyone has not come out, my Duanmu family's Duanmu Ju has not come out, how do you know that Lu Ming will win? Duanmu Jin said unwillingly. He hoped that Duanmu Ju could create a miracle. Elder Jin, this is bad. At this moment, a few shouts suddenly came from the secluded Night Mountain range. More than a dozen figures rushed out. These people were the young geniuses of the Duanmu family. What's going on? Why are you in such a hurry? As a member of the Duanmu family and a disciple of the Mystic Essence Sword sect, you have to be calm. Do you understand? Chapter 48. Elder Jin, this is bad. Duanmu Ju is dead. A young man from the Duanmu family said in fear. Duanmu Jin's eyes widened and his face changed as he cried out in shock. How could he remain calm? Everyone else's faces changed as well. Even the expressions of the elders of the other three schools changed slightly. Xie Kuang's face revealed a hint of joy. Duanmu Ju was dead? How did he die? Among them Yin Kai, Huang Yu, and the rest could not help but glance at Lu Ming. Where did Lu Ming get so many points from? He couldn't have gotten so many points by hunting beasts alone. Could it be Duanmu Ju's? Speak, how did Duanmu Ju die? Duanmu Jin shouted with a gloomy face. His throat was slit by a sword. A young man said, Slit by a sword? Who killed him? Duanmu Jin exuded a cold killing intent as he asked. I don't know. When we found Duanmu Ju, he was already dead. There were also 2 third-level martial master disciples from the White Tiger Hall who died with him. What? You don't know who it was? Duanmu Jin's eyes flickered with killing intent as he turned around and looked at Lu Ming. Lu Ming, speak. Did you kill Duanmu Ju? Duanmu Jin, what do you mean? Before Lu Ming could answer, Xie Kuang's expression changed and he stepped forward. Lu Ming smiled and said, Elder Duanmu, which eye of yours saw me kill Duanmu Ju? You also heard that there were 2 third-level martial master experts beside Duanmu Ju. Do you think I can kill him? Many people fell into deep thought when they heard this. That's right. How could Lu Ming kill Duanmu Ju and 2 third-level martial master experts? Impossible. Duanmu Jin sneered and said, How do you explain that you have so many points on you? I'm sure that you must have used some despicable method to kill Duanmu Ju. What a despicable and shameless person. I'll cripple you now. Bang. Then, Duanmu Jin took a step forward, and a huge aura soared from his body. It was like a mountain and it pressed down on Lu Ming. This pressure was too strong. Lu Ming felt as if he had been hit by a mountain. His body trembled violently as he retreated, almost coughing up a mouthful of blood. Duanmu Jin, what are you doing? Xie Kuang roared. He took a step forward and stood in front of Lu Ming. Similarly, a powerful aura gushed out from him and blocked Duanmu Jin's aura. Xie Kuang scram. Duanmu Jin roared. Fatty Duanmu, is your fucking brain full of fat? In the Mystic Essence Sword sex trial, the winner was always the king. What rule did they have to explain the origin of the iron token? What the fuck have you been doing for so many years? Lu Ming wasn't the type to suffer a loss. At this moment, anger welled up in his heart, and he cursed loudly. Everyone's mouths were wide open. This Lu Ming was too bold. He actually dared to curse Duanmu Jin in front of everyone. Sure enough, Duanmu Jin was trembling with anger. He raised his trembling arm and pointed at Lu Ming, saying, "Little bastard, what did you say? So your ears are also bad. What the fuck have you been doing for so long?" Lu Ming curled his lips. "I'll kill you, little bastard." Duanmu Jin's eyes were red, and he threw out a palm attack. "Stop right there." Xie Kuang threw out a punch and blocked Duanmu Jin's palm attack. Boom! A strong wind blew, and both of them were pushed back. "Xie Kuang, scram. Otherwise I'll kill you too," Duanmu Jin shouted. "I'm afraid you don't have the ability." Xie Kuang didn't give in. Boom! At this moment, a strong pressure suddenly pressed down from the sky. This pressure was as deep as the sea. Xie Kuang and Duanmu Jin's bodies shook violently, and they couldn't move at all. Silver-robed elder. Both of them were shocked. In the sky, an old man was floating there, and his eyes were filled with displeasure. He shouted, "Both of you are cultivation imparting elders. How can you fight to the death in front of so many disciples? Do you want the younger disciples to laugh at you?" Elder Wang, this Lu Ming used despicable means to kill Duanmu Ju and the others. He must be punished. I suggest that he be stripped of his first place. Duanmu Jin cupped his fists and said to the silver-robed elder in the sky. "Hee, Duanmu Jin, which eye of yours saw me using despicable means to kill Duanmu Ju and the others? How dare you say that you haven't been living for so long?" Since he was already enemies with the Duanmu family, Lu Ming didn't have the slightest fear. He could say whatever he wanted and scold them to his heart's content. Moreover, he was sure that the silver-robed elder and Xie Kuang wouldn't let anything happen to him. "How dare you? How dare you? You have no respect for your seniors!" Duanmu Jin shouted, and the fat on his body shook violently. He was so angry that he wanted to slap Lu Ming into meat paste. "Duanmu Jin, what are you shouting for? Just say it if you want to go back on your words. You slandered a new genius disciple for just 30 crystals. This is the first time I've seen someone like you." Xie Kuang seized the opportunity and mocked. Duanmu Jin was so angry that he almost vomited blood. His chest rose and fell rapidly, and his fat face turned red. Nearby, the others were watching with their mouths agape. Even geniuses like Huang Yu and Xie Hong looked at Lu Ming in a different light. Their identities were extraordinary, but even they didn't dare to scold an elder of the Duanmu family in public. This Lu Ming was simply lawless. After taking a few deep breaths, Duanmu Jin finally calmed down. He cupped his fist towards the silver-robed elder and said, "Elder Wang, I'm sure that this Lu Ming must have used despicable means to obtain so many iron tokens. If he gets first place, I'm afraid that the other new disciples won't be convinced. I suggest that we test his strength. If his strength is passable, then I'll admit that he's the first place." "No, Elder Wang. Since ancient times, the newcomer's trial has always been based on the score. There's never any restriction on how one obtains the iron tokens." Xie Kuang quickly said. Duanmu Jin sneered and said, "Xie Kuang, don't forget that the previous newcomer's strength was recognized. Even if they were lucky, their strength was still not to be underestimated. But this Lu Ming, where did he come from? What ability does he have?" His words were filled with contempt. The silver-robed elder thought for a while and said, "Duanmu Jin, how do you want to test him?" "Very simple. Duanmu Tao, come out." Duanmu Jin waved his hand and said. Immediately, a young man walked out from the group of old disciples. Duanmu Jin pointed at the young man and said, "This time, among the new disciples, the strongest one is a fourth-layer martial master. Duanmu Tao's cultivation is also at the fourth-layer martial master. As long as Lu Ming defeats Duanmu Tao, I'll admit that Lu Ming is the first place. Otherwise, I suggest that Lu Ming's first place be revoked." Xie Kuang's expression changed and said, "I object. This Duanmu Tao has been in the sect for 3 years. Although his cultivation is only at the 4th layer martial master, he has been cultivating for 3 years. How can a new disciple compare to him? This battle is unfair. What? If you don't have the strength, then say so. It's not that easy to become the newcomer's king. Duanmu Jin sneered. Alright, I agree. Chapter 49. Lu Ming stepped forward with a faint smile on his face. Xie Kuang's expression changed again. Lu Ming, don't be impulsive. It was rare for the Vermilion Bird Courtyard to obtain the title of the best newcomer king this time. Their reputation would definitely soar in the future. The sect would also give more resources to the Vermilion Bird Courtyard. He could not bear to see Lu Ming lose the ranking due to a moment of impulse. Lu Ming smiled and said to Xie Kuang, Elder Xie, don't worry. He's just a disciple of the Duanmu family who has cultivated for a few years. What can he do? Then he said to Duanmu Jin, I agree. Good. Seeing Lu Ming agree, Duanmu Jin was overjoyed. He cupped his fists and said to the silver-gowned elder, Elder Wang, Lu Ming has agreed. Please allow it. Elder Wang nodded and said, Good. Since it's like this, we'll do as you say. Thank you, Elder Wang. Duanmu Jin barely suppressed the joy in his heart. He looked at Duanmu Tao and said, Duanmu Tao, do you understand? Lu Ming is a candidate for the newcomer king. His talent is very high. You have to do your best, understand? Understood. Don't worry, Elder Jin. There was a sinister smile at the corners of Duanmu Tao's lips. He looked at Lu Ming and said, Lu Ming, it's not too late for you to admit defeat now. When we fight later, the saber and sword have no eyes. If you get hurt, don't blame me for not reminding you. Duanmu Jin retreated a dozen meters and said, Duanmu Tao, just do your best. My Mystic Essence Sword Sect's newcomer king needs real talent, not trash who relies on luck. You don't have a chance now. Duanmu Tao smiled sinisterly. He suddenly moved and unsheathed his sword, slashing towards Lu Ming. Shua, shua. The sword flashed in midair and 9 sword flowers appeared. Each flower was like a plum blossom, enveloping Lu Ming's body. This is a yellow rank upper-level martial skill, Heavenly Plum Sword Art. Duanmu Tao has cultivated it for many years and has already reached the 4th level. The eyes of the Azure Dragon Hall's imparting elder lit up. That's right, this Duanmu Tao's cultivation isn't very high, but his comprehension of martial skills is pretty good. To be able to cultivate a high-level yellow-level martial skill to such a level in just a few years, that's quite rare. Duanmu Jin really has a good plan for Duanmu Tao to fight. I'm afraid that among this batch of newcomers, no one is a match for Duanmu Tao. The elder of the Black Tortoise Academy said. Despicable. Xie Kuang clenched his fists, his eyes filled with worry. Duanmu Jin sneered. But at this time, Lu Ming's face also had a sneer. His body was motionless. With a clang, a sword light burst out like lightning. Fast, too fast. In a flash, it was right in front of Duanmu Tao's face. The cold sword edge made Duanmu Tao's heart shiver. Retreat. Without the slightest hesitation, Duanmu Tao frantically retreated, and that whatever sword flower also disappeared without a trace. The smile on Duanmu Jin's face froze. What a fast sword! This is also a high-grade yellow-level sword art. The elder of the Azure Dragon Academy's face changed. That's right. This is a high-grade yellow-level sword art, flowing light sword art. I estimate that Lu Ming has at least cultivated it to the 4th level, or even the 5th level. The elder of the Black Tortoise Academy said, his eyes flashing. Xie Kuang, on the other hand, was ecstatic. Lu Ming was just a beginner. He did not expect his attainment in martial arts to be so high. Duanmu Tao, this is the martial arts that you've been cultivating for years? After years of hard work, you're only at this level. Come out and make a fool of yourself. Lu Ming said with a faint smile. Damn it, take another move from me. Duanmu Tao roared. His body swayed, bringing out a series of afterimages as he attacked Lu Ming. A powerful sword chi burst out from the body of the sword. He slashed out 7 or 8 sword chi at Lu Ming. So what if his sword art was fast? He wanted to use his powerful true qi to suppress Lu Ming. "I don't want to play with you anymore," Lu Ming muttered and suddenly slashed out with his long sword. A sword qi that was even sharper than Duanmu Tao's swept out. Lu Ming had broken through to the third level of the martial master realm. The quality of his true qi was already above Duanmu Tao's. With a few puffs, Duanmu Tao's sword qi was destroyed. Then, Lu Ming punched out with his left hand. Flame Dragon Fist. This punch directly landed on Duanmu Tao's dantian. Duanmu Tao screamed as his body flew backwards and fell heavily to the ground. His face was pale as he spat out large mouthfuls of blood. Silence. The entire arena fell into silence. 2 moves, from start to finish, Lu Ming had defeated Duanmu Tao in just 2 moves. With this kind of battle strength, was he still a new disciple? "My cyclone, my cultivation, Lu Ming, you crippled my cultivation?" Duanmu Tao let out a mournful scream. That punch just now, the powerful fist force had already destroyed the cyclone in Duanmu Tao's dantian. Boom. Lu Ming. Duanmu Jin exuded a cold, murderous intent. He was about to dash toward Lu Ming. However, Xie Kuang took a step forward and blocked in front of Duanmu Jin. "Xie Kuang, get out of my way. I'm going to cripple this little bastard." He actually used such a heavy hand in a sparring match. His character is low, he deserves to be killed. Duanmu Jin shouted. Duanmu Jin, when it comes to fighting, swords have no eyes. This is what Duanmu Tao said himself. "I was able to control my strength and not kill him. It's fine if you don't thank me, but you're saying my character is low. I think the one with a low character is you." Lu Ming shouted. "Little bastard, die." Duanmu Jin could no longer hold it in. His face turned red and he almost suffered internal injuries. "Enough!" The silver-robed elder waved his hand and a powerful force emerged. Xie Kuang and Duanmu Jin both retreated. "Elder Wang, you have to help Duanmu Tao." Duanmu Jin shouted. Elder Wang frowned and said, "Duanmu Jin, that's enough. When 2 people fight, swords have no eyes. Injuries are unavoidable. Don't be unreasonable." The silver-robed elders who were in charge of supervising didn't belong to any of the 4 great sections. They were directly sent by the sect master to ensure fairness and not be biased towards any of the 4 great sections. When he saw Lu Ming's talent and strength, he was quite happy. After all, the Mystic Essence Sword sect had another genius. However, Duanmu Jin wanted to kill Lu Ming for his own selfish desires. This already made him unhappy. This battle has also proven Lu Ming's strength. Now that almost everyone has come out, I announce that the first place is Lu Ming. Elder Wang announced. Damn it. Duanmu Jin's face was extremely ugly. He knew that he couldn't deal with Lu Ming today. Lu Ming, let's see how long you can be arrogant. Offending my Duanmu family will not end well. Duanmu Jin roared in his heart. Not far away, Huang Yu, Xie Hong and the rest looked at Lu Ming with complicated expressions. Lu Ming's strength was beyond their expectations. They concluded that Duanmu Ju must have died in Lu Ming's hands. They secretly rejoiced that they didn't catch up with Lu Ming in the secluded Night Mountain range. Otherwise, they would be the ones dead. Duanmu Jin, 30 spiritual crystals. Hand it over. At this moment, Xie Kuang walked in front of Duanmu Jin and sneered. Kakik. Duanmu Jin gritted his teeth, but in front of everyone he couldn't act shamelessly. He took out 30 spiritual crystals and handed it over to Xie Kuang. Ah! Xie Kuang laughed heartily. After a while, the time was up and Elder Wang began to announce the rankings. Second place, Huang Yu. Third place, Xie Hong. The rankings were announced one by one. Feng Wu obtained the 22nd place with 131 points. After the rankings were announced, Elder Wang continued, Well, this year's trial for new disciples has come to an end. Those who have obtained rewards will be awarded together when you return to the sect and apply for the sect's Identity Jade token. Everyone is dismissed. Chapter 50. In the training field of the Vermilion Bird Courtyard, all the new disciples had gathered. Above them, other than Elder Xie Kuang, there were several other elders. There was even a silver-robed elder from the Vermilion Bird Courtyard. Every elder had a smile on their faces. Now, I will issue you your identity jade token. This jade token not only contains your basic information, but also your sex contribution points. When you need contribution points, you can use this jade token to make a transaction. A jade token appeared in the silver-robed elder's hand. He continued, this time, although our Vermilion Bird Courtyard's overall results were not good, Lu Ming won the title of Newcomer King. You should know that our Vermilion Bird Courtyard hasn't had a newcomer king in 8 years. This is our Vermilion Bird Courtyard's honor. Therefore, this time, not only will the first place be rewarded with 5,000 contribution points and a spirit condensing fruit, our Vermilion Bird Courtyard will also add 2,000 contribution points. Lu Ming, come and receive your reward. As soon as these words came out, everyone's eyes turned to Lu Ming. Their eyes were filled with envy, jealousy, and so on. Among them, Yin Kai's eyes were extremely cold. His eyes were constantly moving, and no one knew what he was thinking. Lu Ming walked forward and received the jade token and a jade box. Lu Ming's consciousness sank into the jade token, and a row of words appeared on the jade token. Lu Ming, 15 years old, from Windfire City, Mystic Essence Sword Sect, Vermilion Bird Courtyard's Bronze Disciple. Residence, Courtyard 29, Room 1. Contribution points, 7,000. The information inside was very comprehensive. Even the residence was marked. And the jade box contained the spirit condensing fruit. Thank you, Elder. Lu Ming cupped his fists and bowed, then retreated. Next, it was time for the others to receive their jade tokens. After receiving their tokens, everyone dispersed. Lu Ming headed towards the Vermilion Bird Peak. The Vermilion Bird Peak was very majestic. It towered into the clouds and was very wide. On the peak, ancient trees formed a forest. Birds chirped and flowers bloomed. It was like a paradise on earth. Halfway up the mountain, a number of unique courtyards were built. These courtyards were the dormitories of the Vermilion Bird Courtyard's disciples. What a dense heaven and earth spirit chi. The heaven and earth spirit chi here is several times denser than the Odd Job Disciple District. No wonder everyone wants to become a bronze-rank disciple. It's said that the silver-rank disciples, elders, and headmasters all live near the top of the mountain. The spiritual chi of heaven and earth there is richer than here. Lu Ming thought as he walked. The doors of these courtyards were marked with numbers. Soon, Lu Ming found Courtyard 29. The courtyard was quite spacious. There was a courtyard inside, which was convenient for cultivating martial skills. There were also 3 rooms. The room in the middle was labeled Room 1. The other 2 rooms were Room 2 and Room 3. Lu Ming walked straight into Room 1. The room was very simple. There was only a bed and a table. There was a small booklet on the table that introduced the basic information of the Mystic Yuan Sword Sect. Of course, it also introduced the Burning Sun Empire. Lu Ming glanced at it and put it away. At this time, footsteps came from outside. Lu Ming walked out of the room. A teenager around 15 or 16 years old walked in. He was tall and sturdy, with thick eyebrows and big eyes. He carried a sword wider than a palm on his back. When he saw Lu Ming, he was stunned for a moment. Then, he was overjoyed and said, "Senior brother Lu Ming, you're also assigned to Courtyard 29? Huh, that's great. Then we'll be roommates from now on." The burly teenager laughed. Lu Ming smiled and said, "Brother, you're too polite. How should I address you?" "My name is Pangshi. I'm a hunter from Fuhai City." The burly teenager hurriedly introduced himself with enthusiasm. After a simple introduction, Lu Ming understood that Pangshi was the son of a hunter family in Fuhai City. Because of his natural strength and his bloodline awakening at the age of 14, his family sent him to the Mystic Yuan Sword Sect to participate in the assessment. Not only did he pass, but he also became a bronze disciple. Looking at this young hunter, Lu Ming felt that his talent was not simple. Otherwise, an ordinary hunter would not have passed the assessment and completed the trial so easily. "I'll need senior brother Lu Ming's guidance in the future. I'm a little stupid." Pangshi scratched his head and said, "Ask him to guide you? I think you'd better follow me in the future." At this time, a handsome young man in a green robe walked into the courtyard. The young man's skin was fair, and his eyes were long and narrow. He was tall and thin, and there was an undisguised arrogance between his eyebrows. After the green-robed young man walked in, he looked at Lu Ming and sneered. "Lu Ming, remember, my name is Huaqi. Although you've won the newcomer king title, it's nothing. I've just entered the Mystic Yuan Sword sect. In a year, I'll surpass you." Lovestruck? What a strange name. Pang Shi ignored the other content and said in surprise. Suddenly, the green-robed young man's face froze and he roared, "You big guy, idiot, what nonsense are you talking about? My name is Huaqi, not Lovestruck." "Still Lovestruck, senior brother Lu Ming, isn't that right?" Pang Shi scratched his head and asked in bewilderment. Lu Ming could not help laughing and said, "Pang Shi, you're right. I also heard that it's Lovestruck. You two country bumpkins, it's useless to rely on your mouths. Just wait and see. Soon, my name will be famous in the Mystic Yuan Sword sect and even the entire Blazing Sun Empire." Huaqi's eyes were full of confidence. He then snorted and ignored Lu Ming and Pang Shi as he walked into room number 2. Lu Ming smiled and said goodbye to Pang Shi before returning to his room. After returning to his room, Lu Ming began to cultivate the true dragon fighting technique. Ever since he had broken through to the martial master realm, Lu Ming had been constantly devouring blood essence and his cultivation had soared. Now, his foundation was a little unstable and his genuine qi was full of impurities. He had to stop and spend time to consolidate and condense it. An unstable foundation was a huge problem. It would affect one's future cultivation. In the end, his cultivation would even stop and it would be difficult to improve. Even with the spirit-devouring bug bloodline, it was useless to devour blood essence. Circulating the true dragon fighting technique, the vortex in his dantian spun continuously, forming tiny dragon-shaped genuine qi that flowed through his meridians and constantly refined the impurities in his genuine qi. 6 hours later, Lu Ming opened his eyes. At this rate, I should be able to completely consolidate my cultivation in about 10 days. Then, it's time to cultivate the second level of the true dragon fighting technique. Once I reach the martial master realm, my advantage will weaken. As long as I cultivate the true dragon fighting technique to the second level, my strength will increase greatly. I've already collected 2 of the 3 most important materials for the second level of the true dragon fighting technique. I'm only missing the blood smoke stone. I'll go to the contribution hall in 2 days to see if there are any blood smoke stones there. Lu Ming kept pondering in his heart. Chapter 51. In the blink of an eye, 2 days had passed. "Lu Ming, get out here." On this day, Lu Ming was cultivating. Suddenly, a loud roar came from outside. "Ning Feng." Lu Ming remembered this voice very clearly. It was the senior disciple who had deliberately caused trouble for him when he had just entered the sect. "This Ning Feng sent someone to kill me during the trial. I didn't look for you, but you came looking for me first." A cold light flashed in Lu Ming's eyes. He got up and walked out of the door. When he walked out of the door, he saw Pang Shi and Huaqi also walking out of their rooms. They were obviously alarmed. "Senior brother Lu, what's going on?" Pang Shi showed a trace of worry. "Don't worry." Lu Ming smiled. "Lu Ming, get out here." Ning Feng's voice rang out again. His voice rumbled and spread far and wide. Lu Ming opened the door of the courtyard and walked out. Outside the courtyard stood 7 or 8 young men. The one in the lead was Ning Feng, and standing beside Ning Feng was actually Yin Kai. As for the others, each of them had a strong aura. They were obviously senior disciples of the Vermilion Bird Courtyard. "Lu Ming, you finally came out. I thought you were going to be a coward." Ning Feng looked coldly at Lu Ming. Deep in his eyes, there was a flash of killing intent. This Lu Ming was beyond his expectations. During the newcomer's trial, he had arranged for a martial master expert and the Duanmu family to cooperate with him to kill Lu Ming. Under such circumstances, Lu Ming was not killed. Lu Ming even obtained the title of newcomer king. This was simply unbelievable. When he heard the news, he was so shocked that he jumped up. Lu Ming's talent was beyond his imagination. He had to nip it in the bud. Coward? Ning Feng, do you think you're worthy? Lu Ming looked indifferently at Ning Feng. Lu Ming, don't think that you can be arrogant just because you obtained the title of newcomer king. In my eyes, you're nothing. Moreover, you obtained the title of newcomer king through despicable means. Lu Ming, do you know? You've committed a great crime. Kneel down and accept your punishment. Ning Feng shouted. At this moment, the entire area had been alarmed. One figure after another walked out of the courtyards. There were even senior disciples. Everyone looked over and discussed fervently. I don't know. But? No wonder. Ning Feng was aggressive, but Lu Ming wasn't afraid at all. Ning Feng, you don't have to slander me. What crime did I commit? What crime? Let me ask you, during the trial, the 500-point iron plate was originally obtained by junior brother Yin Kai. However, for your own selfish desires, you colluded with the disciples of the other courtyards to intercept junior brother Yin Kai midway, causing junior brother Yin Kai to painfully lose his 500-point iron plate. Originally, the position of newcomer king was junior brother Yin Kai's. Not only that, in order to obtain the 500-point iron token, you actually killed my Vermilion Bird Courtyard's genius disciple, Yuan Lang. Such behavior is heinous and deserves 1,000 deaths. Now, kneel down and accept your punishment. Ning Feng roared, his aura threatening. This Ning Feng really knows how to slander. Isn't that so? Not far away, some senior disciples were discussing. There was a rule in the Mystic Essence Sword sect that disciples were not allowed to kill each other. But there were times and places where there were exceptions. For example, the life and death arena, or the newcomer trial. The newcomer trial had been passed down in the Mystic Essence Sword sect for a long time. In fact, everyone knew that the trial was to test one's overall ability. In the trial, any method could be used, including killing. But this was an unspoken rule that couldn't be said out loud. If it was said out loud, it would be the crime of killing a fellow disciple. But which newcomer trial didn't kill? Impossible. This was clearly a case of, if you want to condemn someone, there's no need to worry about the pretext. Ning Feng, you're here to say this? You're using this idiotic reason? I don't have time to talk nonsense with you. After speaking, Lu Ming turned around and walked inside. He was too lazy to talk nonsense with Ning Feng. Damn it. Lu Ming's attitude made Ning Feng grit his teeth and roared, Lu Ming, how dare you? Do you still have the sex rules in your eyes? Kneel down. Swish. Ning Feng's palm struck towards Lu Ming. If this palm hit, Lu Ming would be seriously injured even if he didn't die. Senior brother Lu Ming, be careful. Pang Shi reminded. Boom. At the critical moment, Lu Ming quickly turned around and blasted out the flame dragon fist. Bang. Lu Ming's fist collided with Ning Feng's palm. With a loud bang, Lu Ming took 5 steps back. His body trembled and he spat out a mouthful of blood. Newcomer king? You're just a piece of trash. Today, I'll cripple you and slowly interrogate you. Ning Feng's face was cold and disdainful. He took a step forward and struck another palm at Lu Ming. You want to cripple me? I'll make you pay a painful price. Lu Ming held the hilt of his sword and his eyes flashed with a ruthless light. He planned to activate his bloodline and make Ning Feng pay the price even if he had to take a hit from Ning Feng. But at this moment, a delicate shout sounded out. A figure rushed over like lightning and a strong palm wind struck towards Ning Feng. The sharpness of the palm wind was not any weaker than Ning Feng's. Helpless, Ning Feng could only turn around and face the attack. Bang! As the two palms collided, Ning Feng's body swayed slightly. Yuan Hui, it's you? Why are you blocking me? Seeing who it was, Ning Feng's face changed. Lu Ming was also a little surprised. The one who attacked was a young woman around 18 or 19 years old. She was quite beautiful. But Lu Ming didn't know her, so why did she help him? But immediately he understood. Another figure flew over. It was Feng Wu. Lu Ming, are you all right? Don't worry, Senior Sister Yuan is one of Sister Mulin's people. She won't let Ning Feng do whatever he wants. Feng Wu looked at Lu Ming with a look of concern in his eyes. I'm fine. Lu Ming laughed. At this time, Ruan Hui said, Ning Feng, I might as well tell you, Lu Ming was introduced by Elder Mullins. Now, you know why I blocked you. What? Elder Mullins? When Ning Feng heard Mullins's name, his face immediately became serious. At the side, Yin Kai's face also darkened. How can this Lu Ming be so lucky? Damn it. Yin Kai clenched his teeth. Originally, when he saw Lu Ming being injured by Ning Feng, he was secretly happy, but he didn't expect Ruan Hui to appear. Got it, hurry up and leave. Ruan Hui stared at Ning Feng and said. Chapter 52. Ning Feng, if you want to deal with me, do you need to use such a lowly reason? Do you want us to go find the law enforcement elder and see if I'm guilty or not? Lu Ming looked at Ning Feng with disdain and said, Why would I need to find the law enforcement elder for such a small matter? Ning Feng sneered. Senior apprentice brother Ning, this is where you are wrong. I am also a new disciple and have just participated in the smelting trial. During the smelting trial, killing each other is very normal. I saw a senior apprentice brother being killed by a person from the Duan Mu clan. Why didn't senior apprentice brother Ning bring some people to capture that Duan Mu clan disciple? At this moment, Pang Shi walked out, rubbed his head, and said with a simple and honest face. That's right, Ning Feng, you're so righteous. Go and capture the people of the Duan Mu family. You only know how to shout here. Don't you find it embarrassing? Feng Wu stood beside Lu Ming and shouted. This caused Ning Feng's face to turn ugly. How was it possible for him to capture a disciple of the Duan Mu family? He immediately looked at Pang Shi unkindly and berated, Who do you think you are? How dare you speak to me like that? Scram to the side. Then he looked at Ruan Hui and shouted, Ruan Hui, get out of my way. Ning Feng, if you have the ability, then defeat me. Otherwise, don't even think about touching a single hair on Lu Ming's head. Ruan Hui's attitude was very firm. Ruan Hui's attitude was so resolute that it caused Ning Feng's face to darken. He then looked at Lu Ming and said, Lu Ming, what kind of newcomer king are you? Do you only know how to hide behind a woman? Ning Feng, you've been in the sect for 4 or 5 years, right? How about this? You and Lu Ming will fight in a year's time. How about it? Ruan Hui said. Senior sister Ruan, why do you need a year? 1 month is enough. Lu Ming took a step forward and faced Ning Feng, saying, Ning Feng, I am challenging you right now. 1 month later, on the Vermilion Bird stage, a life and death battle, do you dare? Lu Ming's clear voice, which spread far and wide, caused an uproar. What? Lu Ming wants to challenge Ning Feng? And a month later, isn't he courting death? Ning Feng has already reached the peak of the 6th level of the Martial Master Realm. It is said that he is only a step away from the 7th level of the Martial Master Realm. Furthermore, he has bitterly cultivated a high-grade yellow rank martial skill for nearly 5 years and has already reached the 5th level, the Realm of Perfection. This Lu Ming actually dares to challenge Ning Feng in a month? That's right. This Lu Ming is at most a 4th grade martial master. It's impossible for him to defeat Ning Feng in a month. He's too arrogant. I think he's blindly confident after receiving the title of Newcomer King. You overestimate yourself. Most of the people who were discussing this were the older disciples. They all felt that Lu Ming was too arrogant. Ning Feng's eyes flashed, revealing a trace of joy as he said, Lu Ming, you want to challenge me in a month? That's right. Do you dare? Lu Ming said. Ha, what's there to be afraid of? I'll take it. Ning Feng laughed. With Lu Ming's talent, perhaps surpassing him in a year's time wouldn't be a problem. However, it was impossible for him to fight him in a month's time. Lu Ming was courting death. Since he was blocked by Ruan Hui today, he might as well agree first. He wanted to kill Lu Ming in front of everyone in a month's time. The thought of killing a newcomer king made him incomparably excited. Lu Ming, I hope that you won't hide like a turtle in a month's time. Ning Feng said. These words are exactly what I wanted to give you. Lu Ming said. It's useless to rely on your mouth. Let's go. Ning Feng waved his hand and left with all the older disciples. Lu Ming, you're too impulsive. How can you challenge Ning Feng in a month's time? After Ning Feng and the rest left, Feng Wu said worriedly. That's right. You can agree to fight him in a year's time, or even half a year. With me here, Ning Feng won't be able to do anything to you today. Wan Hui frowned and said. She also felt that Lu Ming was too arrogant. She didn't like this personality. Sooner or later, she would suffer a great loss. Lu Ming smiled and said, It's fine, but I still have to thank senior sister Ruan for her help today. You don't have to thank me. I'm also looking at Elder Mulin's. I hope you can take care of yourself. With that, Ruan Hui turned and left. Lu Ming, then you should cultivate well during this period of time. If you need any help, feel free to find me. Feng Wu said. Lu Ming nodded and said, Definitely. Then I'll be leaving first. Feng Wu glanced at Lu Ming, then left as well. Senior brother Lu Ming, I believe you will definitely win. Pang Shi walked over and said. How could it be that easy to win against Ning Feng? Let me tell you, Ning Feng's cultivation is said to have already reached the peak of the 6th level of the martial master, and his father is one of the chief elders of the Vermilion Bird Courtyard. Hua Qi said coldly from the side. Lu Ming smiled slightly. This Hua Qi was a person with a cold face but a warm heart. This was a reminder to him. I believe in senior brother Lu Ming. Senior brother Lu Ming is the newcomer king. Pang Shi grinned. Naive. Hua Qi shook his head and walked back to the courtyard. Peak of the 6th level of the martial master realm? Lu Ming whispered, his eyes revealing a determined look. After informing Pang Shi, he went down the Vermilion Bird Peak and headed towards the contribution hall of the Mystic Essence Sword Sect. The contribution hall of the Mystic Essence Sword Sect was close to the center of the 4 great academies. It was the most prosperous place in the Mystic Essence Sword Sect. That place was the center of the 4 great academies. The Qilin Courtyard was in this area, as well as the contribution hall and the mission hall. Lu Ming planned to go to the contribution hall to see if there were any blood smoke stones to exchange for. Half an hour later, Lu Ming arrived at the contribution hall. The contribution hall covered an area of a few hundred mu. It was very spacious and bustling with people coming and going. There were many small rooms built around the main hall. Lu Ming would only allow someone to enter when he saw someone walk out. Every time someone entered, a sign with the words, "Occupied," would appear at the door of the room. This was to protect the privacy of the disciples. After all, the items that some people exchanged for might be very precious. If someone with ulterior motives found out, it might be disadvantageous to the disciple who exchanged for it. Lu Ming looked around for a while and saw someone walking out of a room. Lu Ming quickly walked into the room. The room wasn't big. There was a table and a few chairs. There was a counter on one side and a white-haired old man was sitting at the counter. Little brother, do you want to exchange for contribution points? Or do you want to exchange for contribution points? When the old man saw Lu Ming, he asked with a smile. Senior, I want to ask if there are any blood smoke stones here? Lu Ming asked as he looked at the old man with anticipation. Blood smoke stone? You want to exchange for a blood smoke stone? The old man raised his eyebrows and asked in surprise. Could it be that there weren't any? Lu Ming's heart skipped a beat as he asked, Senior, could it be that there aren't any blood smoke stones to exchange for? Yes, of course there are. However, the price of blood smoke stones isn't cheap. 1 gene of blood smoke stone requires 3,000 contribution points. The old man said, What? 3,000 contribution points? Chapter 53. 3,000 sect contribution points were equivalent to 300,000 taels of silver, and the amount of blood smoke stone he needed was 1.5 caddies. In other words, he needed a total of 4,500 contribution points. He had a total of 7,000 contribution points, and he had used up 2/3 of them. Young friend, are you still exchanging? The old man asked with a smile. Yes, of course. Lu Ming gritted his teeth and said, no matter how many contribution points he needed, he had to exchange them. No matter how many contribution points he had, they would only show their value when they were converted into strength. In his hands, it was just a bunch of numbers. The old man was slightly surprised. He saw that Lu Ming was young and thought that he couldn't afford it. He didn't expect him to be able to take out so many contribution points. Lu Ming took out his identity jade token and handed it to the old man. "Senior, this is my identity jade token." But the old man took Lu Ming's identity jade token and placed it on a circular metal platform. The metal platform flickered, and a row of words appeared. It was Lu Ming's personal information. "So this young friend is this year's newcomer king, Lu Ming. Ha, nice to meet you." The old man was slightly surprised when he saw Lu Ming's information. Then he smiled. "Senior, you're too polite. Newcomer king is just a title." Lu Ming shook his head. The old man nodded. Lu Ming was able to remain humble after obtaining the newcomer king title. This made the old man's impression of Lu Ming increase greatly. Then he swiped a few times on the metal platform. Lu Ming saw that the words on it were changing. The original 7,000 contribution points suddenly became 2,500. After deducting the contribution points, the old man returned the identity jade token to Lu Ming. Then he turned and walked into a door at the back. After a while, the old man returned with a metal box in his hand. "This is the blood smoke stone. It's exactly 1.5 caddies. Take a look," the old man said with a smile. Lu Ming took it and opened the metal box expectantly. It was a fist-sized blood-red stone that was cut into 4 squares. Strangely, there was a layer of faint red smoke floating above the stone. "Blood smoke stone, I've finally gathered the 3 most important treasures. I can now cultivate the 2nd level of the true dragon battle art." Lu Ming was overjoyed. Putting away the blood smoke stone, Lu Ming said, "Senior, I need a few other materials." After that, Lu Ming reported the other materials needed to cultivate the 2nd level of the true dragon fighting art. These materials were much cheaper. They only cost 200 contribution points in total. "Senior, is there any demonic beast blood essence exchange here?" After thinking for a moment, Lu Ming asked again. "Demonic beast blood essence. These are materials used by inscribers to refine pills and weapons. Are you an inscriber?" the old man asked in surprise. Lu Ming shook his head. "No, I have other uses for it." "Yes." The old man nodded and asked, "What level of demonic beast blood essence do you need?" "4th LV2 and 5th LV2, Lu Ming said. The old man said, 4th LV2 demonic beast blood essence costs 50 contribution points. 5th LV2 demonic beast blood essence costs 100 contribution points. The old man replied, "So expensive?" Lu Ming was surprised again. 4th LV2 demonic beast blood essence costs 50 contribution points, which was equivalent to 5,000 taels of silver. A LV1 upper grade spiritual weapon cost less than 5,000 taels of silver. It was ridiculously expensive. The old man explained with a smile, "Young friend, it's actually not too expensive. You should know that once a demonic beast dies, the essence of its blood essence will dissipate and lose its effect after an hour." "That's right." Lu Ming nodded. He knew this very well. When his blood spirit devouring bug devoured the blood essence of a demonic beast or a human, it had to be done within an hour after the blood spirit devouring bug died. Otherwise, it would lose its effect. Therefore, if you want to preserve the blood essence of a demonic beast, you must use a spirit sealing crystal. However, the spirit sealing crystal is a one-time use item. The higher the grade of the demonic beast's blood essence, the better the quality of the spirit sealing crystal. Therefore, the price of the demonic beast's blood essence is very high, the old man continued to explain. Lu Ming nodded. He knew this was true. "Senior, give me 10 portions of 4th LV2 and 5th LV2 demonic beast blood essence each." Lu Ming gritted his teeth and said, if he wanted to improve his cultivation quickly within a month, he could only devour the blood essence of a demonic beast. As for hunting demonic beasts in the wild, it would be too inefficient. In the area where they had tested before, except for the mutant black-scaled lizard, the highest level of the other demonic beasts was only 4th LV2. If he wanted to hunt demonic beasts of 4th LV2 and above, he would have to travel further and more dangerous. Not to mention the danger, it would take a lot of time to find a suitable demonic beast. It was not worth it. The most convenient way was to buy the blood essence of a demonic beast directly. Okay, I'll prepare the blood essence for you, the old man said. After a while, the old man returned with the blood essence of a demonic beast. Lu Ming's contribution points were deducted by another 1,500 contribution points. All of a sudden, he was only left with 700 contribution points. Lu Ming's heart ached when he spent them so quickly. But if he could convert them into strength, it was all worth it. Only by increasing one's strength could one obtain more treasures and contribution points. After collecting the blood essence of a demonic beast and the blood smoke stone, Lu Ming left the contribution hall and returned to his residence. After returning to his residence, Lu Ming did not immediately attempt to break through to level 2 of the True Dragon skill. This was because his cultivation had not been fully consolidated and his true chi was not pure enough. Under such circumstances, it would be difficult to cultivate to level 2 of the True Dragon skill. If he rashly cultivated, he might even waste the precious materials that he had obtained with great difficulty. To cultivate, one must ensure success in one go. Lu Ming continued to cultivate the True Dragon skill. 8 days later, Lu Ming's cultivation had finally been fully consolidated. But Lu Ming spent another 2 days to make the true qi in his body as smooth and pure as one. At this time, Lu Ming was ready to break through to level 2 of the True Dragon skill. Now, I need to mix these materials. Lu Ming took out the condensation fruit, lightning leopard's blood, blood smoke stone, and other materials. He mixed these materials according to the method described in the True Dragon skill. Although Lu Ming was not an inscription master, this was not alchemy. It was just a simple combination. Lu Ming could still do it easily. When these materials were mixed together, they formed a blood-red liquid that emitted a fragrance. Begin. After the materials were mixed, Lu Ming sat cross-legged on the bed and swallowed the blood-red liquid in one gulp. Once it was swallowed, the blood-red liquid was like a volcanic eruption, bursting out with scorching energy that surged towards Lu Ming's tendons and meridians. Once it entered the tendons and meridians, it mixed with Lu Ming's true qi and finally entered the Dantian cyclone. Sizzle, this surge of energy also emitted strong lightning. Together with this surge of energy, it began to temper Lu Ming's true qi. Chapter 54. Half a day later, Lu Ming's body emitted a roar that sounded like a dragon's roar. The vortex in his dantian started to spin rapidly. The spiritual qi of heaven and earth gathered crazily towards Lu Ming's body. Lu Ming's body was like a bottomless pit that was crazily devouring the spiritual qi. Even Hua Qi and Pang Shi in the other 2 rooms were alarmed. Lu Ming is cultivating. Is he breaking through? Why is there such a huge reaction? This speed of devouring spiritual qi is even more terrifying than a level 5 bloodline. Could it be that Lu Ming's bloodline has surpassed level 5? Hua Qi's eyes were filled with shock. After a while, the commotion stopped. In the room, Lu Ming opened his eyes. I've finally mastered the 2nd level of the True Dragon art. Such dense and condensed true qi. Lu Ming felt the dense true qi in his body and his face was filled with joy. His current true qi was 3 times that of an average person. Of course, the average person here was referring to those who cultivated yellow rank cultivation techniques. Because the higher the rank of the cultivation technique, the more mysterious the true qi would be. Some high-rank cultivation techniques would allow one to cultivate true qi that was denser and more condensed than ordinary cultivation techniques. Of course, it wouldn't be as terrifying as the True Dragon art. Then, Lu Ming got up and walked out of the room. After cultivating for more than 10 days, Lu Ming wanted to take a walk outside to relax. Just as he walked out of the room, he saw Hua Qi and Pang Shi also walking out of their rooms. Senior brother Lu, are you going to listen to the class too? Pang Shi smiled when he saw Lu Ming. Listen to the class? Lu Ming was stunned. Yeah, there's an elder from the Vermilion Bird Courtyard teaching us today. He's going to talk about some knowledge and things to pay attention to in cultivation. Senior brother Lu, Don't you know? Pang Shi scratched his head and said, "Cough, cough." Lu Ming coughed a few times. He really didn't know. He had been busy cultivating and didn't leave his room. Then let's go together. Lu Ming smiled. Since he had just finished his seclusion, he could go listen to the class. Lu Ming had only started cultivating for a few months. In these months, his cultivation had advanced by leaps and bounds. However, he had fallen behind in some fundamental things. Listening to the class would definitely be beneficial. Immediately, Lu Ming and Pang Shi walked together, while Wuxia walked behind them with a cold face. The place where the elder was lecturing was on the other side of the Vermilion Bird Peak. There was a huge square there, and there were many praying mats placed on the square. At this moment, there were already a few hundred people sitting on futons in the square. They were all new disciples who had just entered the sect. Look, Lu Ming. I heard that after Lu Ming challenged senior brother Ningfeng, he went into seclusion. When the disciples saw Lu Ming, they could not help but whisper among themselves. Lu Ming sitting, Pang. Was Ming Ling was courtyard who at them. As time passed, the number of people gradually increased. In the end, there were about 500 people. Vermilion Bird Hall had about 1,000 new disciples, but during the trial, about 200 died in battle. Only 800 were left. It was normal for a portion of them to be in seclusion or not be here. At this moment, a figure came to the top of the square. Mullins? Seeing this figure, Lu Ming's eyes moved. This figure was actually Mullins, whom he hadn't seen for a few months. Mullins was wearing a tight black dress that perfectly outlined her hot figure and soul-stirring curves. She was extremely seductive. So beautiful. Sure enough, there was a male disciple beside Lu Ming. He stared at Mullins in shock and almost drooled. Not only him, but the other male disciples on the field were also the same. Each and every one of them had a perverted look on their faces as they stared at Mulan. Most of these disciples were 15 or 16 years old youths who were full of vigor. How could they resist the temptation of a rare beauty like Mulan? All perverts. The female disciples were unhappy and snorted. "Alright, please take a seat. Let me introduce you. I'm Mullins, the elder who will be teaching you this time." Mullins looked around and stopped at Lu Ming. "What? She's an elder? Why is she so young?" Pang Shi, who was beside Lu Ming, was shocked. "What do you know? Let me tell you, Elder Mullins is talented and beautiful. She's only 20 years old, but her cultivation is unfathomable. It's very likely that she will become the next gold-rank disciple." Behind them, Wuxia curled his lips and stared at Mullins with a pair of burning eyes. "So powerful? Then how did she become an elder?" Pang Shi asked curiously. In the Mystic Essence Sword sect, true geniuses wouldn't become elders. Those who became elders or deacons were usually older, or those who had exhausted their potential. At Mulan's age, it was the golden age for cultivation. Moreover, her talent was peerless. There were very few people who could become elders. I don't know. Not many people know why Elder Mullins suddenly chose to become an elder. Elder Mullins is my goddess. My goal is to become a peerless expert and pursue her. Wuxia looked infatuated. Above them, Mullins sat cross-legged on a futon and said, "All right, let's start the lesson. First, we'll talk about the Meridian Opening Realm." Mullins began to talk about the details of the Meridian Opening Realm. She talked about some things to pay attention to and the use of this realm. His explanation was very detailed, covering all aspects. After talking about the Meridian Opening Realm, she started to talk about the Martial Soldier Realm and then the Martial Master Realm. Lu Ming listened very carefully. There were many things that Lu Ming didn't pay attention to or didn't understand before. After listening, Lu Ming felt that he had benefited a lot. He was also secretly shocked by Mulan's profound knowledge and thorough understanding. After 2 hours, Mullins stopped. "All right, that's all for today. You can all leave now." Mullins waved her hand, then looked at Lu Ming and shouted, "Lu Ming, you stay." But Lu Ming was slightly stunned and nodded. However, Mullins's action caused a wave of whispers. Why did Elder Mullins leave Lu Ming behind? Could it be that Lu Ming and Elder Mulins know each other? Elder Mulins can't have taken a fancy to Lu Ming, right? Bah, how is that possible? Elder Mulins is my goddess, absolutely impossible. I'm so envious that Lu Ming can be alone with Elder Mulins. Ah, Elder Mulins is really too beautiful. If I could marry her, I would be willing to give up 10 years of my life. Stop dreaming. The surrounding disciples looked at Lu Ming with envy and jealousy. Lu Ming smiled bitterly. Mulins's charm was too strong. How can this be? Why did Elder Mulins leave Lu Ming alone? Lu Ming, you must be honest or I'll never let you off. Hua Qi looked at Lu Ming with a face full of resentment, wishing that he was the one who stayed. Lu Ming touched his nose speechlessly and walked towards Mulins. After a while, the people in the square dispersed, leaving only Mulins and Lu Ming. Chapter 55. Lu Ming, I haven't seen you for a few months. You really didn't disappoint me. Mulins had a playful smile on her face as she looked at Lu Ming with her big eyes. She didn't look as serious as before. Looking at Mulins up close, her figure was even more alluring. Smelling the fragrance coming from Mulins, Lu Ming's heart thumped. Elder Mulins, why did you ask me to stay? Mulins smiled. No need to be so formal. My senior sister. Senior sister Mu. Lu Ming cupped his fists. Lu Ming, you've caused quite a lot of trouble. You've obtained the title of newcomer king the moment you entered the sect. To be honest, it's really out of my expectations. Mulins carefully looked at Lu Ming for a while and revealed a curious expression. In the trial, you killed Duanmu Ju, right? That's right. Lu Ming didn't hide it. In fact, this matter was easy to guess. There was no need to hide it. I knew it. But you have to be careful. Duanmu Ju is a rare genius of the Duanmu family. The Duanmu family won't let you off so easily. Also, are you confident in challenging Ningfeng? Mulins said worriedly. 60 to 70%. Lu Ming said. 60 to 70%? Looks like you're very confident. Mulins looked at Lu Ming in surprise. Lu Ming smiled. You should know a little about Ningfeng's strength. But do you know that Ningfeng's father is the chief elder of the Vermilion Bird Courtyard? Mulins asked. I know. Lu Ming nodded. He knew this from Hua Qi, although the elders of the Mystic Essence Sword sect were divided into ordinary elders, silver-robed elders, and golden-robed elders. Silver-robed elders and golden-robed elders were elders with real power. As for ordinary elders, many of them were empty positions and didn't have much power. However, among the ordinary elders, there was a type of elder who also had a lot of power. That was the chief elder. The chief elder was the highest level of ordinary elders, second only to the silver-robed elder. Of course, his cultivation was also very high. Lu Ming had heard from Feng Wu that Mulins was one of the chief elders of the Vermilion Bird Courtyard. However, there is one thing that you definitely don't know. Ningfeng's father has long since joined the Duanmu family. Therefore, this time, the Duanmu family will definitely support Ningfeng with all their might. Ningfeng was already at the peak of the 6th level of the Martial Master Realm. What I'm most afraid of is that he will break through during this period of time. Mu Lan said with a solemn expression. Lu Ming's eyes flashed coldly. Lu Ming looked at Mulins eagerly. He only had 700 contribution points left. It was too difficult for him to use them. It was better to borrow some for later. 3,000 contribution points. What do you need so many contribution points for? You were rewarded with 7,000 contribution points in the newcomer trial. It's all used up. Used up? Mulins was speechless. 7,000 contribution points. In such a short period of time. Could it be that he was using contribution points to eat? That's right, I've used it up. Senior Sister Mulins, can you lend me some? Lu Ming looked at Mulins pitifully. All right, give me your identity jade medallion. Mulins said. Lu Ming took out his identity jade token and handed it to Mulins. After Mulins took it, she also took out her own identity jade token. The two identity jade tokens leaned against each other. Mulins injected her true chi, and the jade tokens started to shine. Mulinza's slender fingers swiped a few times on the jade token. Then, the light on the jade token dimmed. Lu Ming took back his identity jade token and looked at it. There were 3,000 contribution points in it. Lu Ming, when you earn enough contribution points, you must return them to me. You also know that girls spend a lot. Mulin stared at Lu Ming with a pained expression. So stingy. She even said that if there's anything, just say it. Lu Ming muttered softly. What did you say? Mulan widened her eyes and glared at Lu Ming viciously. No, nothing. Senior Sister Mulins, I'm going back to cultivate. Lu Ming ran away. Looking in the direction that Lu Ming had left, Mulan revealed a smile on her face again. She said softly, It's quite interesting. Lu Ming, I hope you won't disappoint me. Although you are still very far away, you might still have a chance to enter that place in the future. After saying that, Mulins also left. After returning to his residence, Lu Ming entered the Temple of Paragon and sat down cross-legged. He took out a jade box and opened it. There were 10 crystals neatly placed inside. 9 drops of blood essence were sealed in each crystal. These 10 crystals were the blood essence of Class 4 LV2 demonic beasts. Lu Ming picked up a crystal and squeezed it hard. A few inscriptions shone on the spirit sealing crystal. Then, the spirit sealing crystal shattered and turned into a pile of debris. 9 drops of demonic beast blood essence emerged. Devour! Lu Ming immediately manipulated his bloodline to produce a strong suction force and devoured the 9 drops of blood essence. Soon, they were converted into energy and flowed into Lu Ming's body. Lu Ming activated the true dragon fighting technique and began to absorb and refine the energy. Lu Ming's cultivation was increasing rapidly. Soon, the blood essence of a demonic beast was completely refined. The energy essence in the blood essence is slightly weaker than the one I just killed. Lu Ming sensed it carefully. This was normal. Although the spirit sealing crystal could seal the loss of energy, it was not 100%. There would still be some energy loss. Continue. Lu Ming crushed the second spirit sealing crystal and began to refine it. In the blink of an eye, a day had passed and he had refined all 10 Class 4 LV2 demonic beasts' blood essence. However, Lu Ming's cultivation had not advanced to LV4 Martial Master. He was still in the late stage of LV3 Martial Master. Sure enough, the second level of the true dragon fighting technique consumes more energy. Lu Ming thought to himself helplessly. Previously, when he was at the first level of the true dragon fighting technique, his genuine qi was twice as dense as ordinary genuine qi. At that time, the energy required to advance his cultivation was 3 times as much as other genuine qi. Now, his genuine qi was 3 times as dense as other genuine qi. The energy required was 9 times as much as other genuine qi. It was a terrifying 9 times. Another thing was that his bloodline had not advanced. It was still at level 3. This was the blood essence of 10 Class 4 LV2 demonic beasts. Logically speaking, it should have advanced a long time ago. Was level 3 really the limit of his bloodline? Lu Ming was unwilling to give up. I don't care anymore. There's no return without effort. Continue to refine. Lu Ming took out another jade box. In this jade box, there were 10 pieces of Class 5 Level 2 demonic beast blood essence. Then, Lu Ming began to devour and refine the Class 5 LV2 demonic beast's blood essence. The blood essence of a Class 5 LV2 demonic beast was several times more than that of a Class 4 LV2 demonic beast's blood essence. Chapter 56. Lu Ming opened his eyes. 2 rays of light flashed across his eyes. 4th level Martial Master. The speed of devouring and refining the blood essence is indeed terrifying. It's only been a little more than a day and I've already reached 4th level Martial Master. But it's still not enough. Ning Feng is a martial artist at the peak of LV6 Martial Master. No one knows if he'll make a breakthrough during this period. I have to go one step further. Lu Ming got up and went to the contribution hall again. This time, he exchanged all the 80,000 taels of silver he got from Duanmuju for contribution points. 80,000 taels of silver was equivalent to 800 contribution points. In addition to the original 700 contribution points and the 3,000 contribution points he borrowed from Mulin's, he had a total of 4,500 contribution points, all of which he used to exchange for the blood essence of demonic beasts. Class 5 LV2 blood essence of demonic beasts cost 100 contribution points, and he exchanged for 15 of them. Class 6 LV2 blood essence of demonic beasts cost 200 contribution points, and he exchanged for 15 of them. All of a sudden, he had spent all his contribution points. Poor, I'm too poor. Lu Ming sighed. After returning to his residence, Lu Ming continued to cultivate. 2 days later, in addition to the remaining 4 blood essences of Class 5 LV2, a total of 19 blood essences of Class 5 LV2 were devoured and refined by Lu Ming. Lu Ming's cultivation had reached the late stage of LV4 Martial Master, almost reaching the peak of LV4 Martial Master. After devouring the blood essence of Class 5 LV2 demonic beasts, Lu Ming continued to devour the blood essence of Class 6 LV2 demonic beasts. With only 3 blood essences, Lu Ming had reached the peak of LV4 Martial Master. However, even after devouring 3 more blood essences of Class 6 LV2 demonic beasts, Lu Ming's cultivation did not improve at all, let alone breaking through to LV5 Martial Master. My cultivation has improved too fast. My genuine qi is not pure and my foundation is not stable. I have to stop and consolidate my cultivation. Lu Ming shook his head and smiled bitterly. Next, Lu Ming temporarily stopped devouring blood essence and focused on consolidating his cultivation. In addition, he would also practice martial techniques when he had time. In the blink of an eye, 10 days had passed. There were less than 2 days left before Ningfeng's 1-month deadline. In these 10 days, Lu Ming's flame dragon fists had reached the 6th level, man and martial arts as one. As for the flowing light sword art, no matter how much Lu Ming cultivated, it was still stuck at the 5th level. After 10 days of cultivation, although Lu Ming's cultivation had not been completely consolidated, it was almost there. Let's start the breakthrough. At this time, Lu Ming once again devoured the Class 6 LV2 demonic beast's blood essence and began to break through his cultivation. The blood essence of the demonic beast was constantly being converted into true energy. The dragon-shaped true energy kept rushing through his meridians, growing stronger and stronger. Finally, it gathered in the vortex in his dantian. A day and a half later, Lu Ming's cyclone began to spin rapidly. Then, with a tremor, it began to expand. In the end, the cyclone had doubled in size. 5th layer Martial Master, I've finally broken through. Lu Ming opened his eyes, revealing a look of joy. Buzz. Just then, Lu Ming felt a numbness in his spine. A red light rushed out, and a finger-sized spirit-swallowing bug appeared, rolling in the air. Then, the spirit-swallowing bug began to grow longer and thicker. 2 hours later, the spirit-swallowing bug had turned into a small snake as thick as a thumb and half a meter long. Yes, it really looked like a small snake, covered with black scales, hovering in the air. At this time, 4 bright red chakras shone on the small snake's body. It had advanced. Lu Ming's bloodline had finally advanced, but the amount of blood essence needed was too much. And this time, even the shape of his bloodline had changed. This can't be called a bug anymore, right? Should I change its name to snake? Lu Ming was a little confused. This situation was simply unheard of. Not only could the bloodline advance, but it could also evolve. I wonder if it will evolve in the future? Forget it, I'll just call it spirit swallowing. Lu Ming thought expectantly. In a rather spacious courtyard in the Vermilion Bird Courtyard, 2 figures stood. One was Ning Feng, and the other was Ning Feng's father, Ning Kong. Feng, how confident are you in your battle with Lu Ming this time? Ning Kong asked. Dad, don't worry. I'm 100% confident that I can kill Lu Ming on the Vermilion Bird Terrace. Ning Feng smiled confidently. Feng, don't underestimate the enemy. Since Lu Ming can get the position of the newcomer king and took the initiative to challenge you, he must have something to rely on. Don't be careless. Ning Kong warned. Ning Feng smiled and said, Dad, if it was before, I wouldn't be so confident. But yesterday, my cultivation broke through. Broke through? Feng, you said you broke through? Ning Kong revealed a look of ecstasy. Instead, Ning Feng smiled and then his body emitted a powerful aura that far surpassed the peak of the 6th-level martial master. Ah, good, then I'm relieved. This time, the Duanmu family also values this matter. As long as you kill Lu Ming, we father and son will have more weight in the Duanmu family's heart. Now that the Duanmu family is getting stronger and stronger, we father and son can only work hard for the Duanmu family to obtain a higher status in the future. Ning Kong laughed heartily. He then took out a jade bottle and passed it to Ning Feng. Feng, this is an explosive spirit pill. Take it. I got it from the Duanmu family. Initially, I wanted to give it to you to kill Lu Ming. But now that you have broken through, I reckon you won't need it. However, take it with you just in case. Thank you, Dad. Ning Feng took the jade bottle and said, Okay, it's about time. Let's go to the Vermilion Bird Terrace. Ning Kong said. On the other side, Lu Ming packed up and walked out of his room. He saw Pang Shi and Hua Qi waiting for him. Senior brother Lu, we'll go with you. Pang Shi said. Lu Ming, don't lose. You're the newcomer king, but you can only lose at my hands. Hua Qi said coldly. Let's go. Lu Ming smiled and took the lead to walk out. The Vermilion Bird Terrace was located at the foot of the east side of the Vermilion Bird Peak. It was very spacious and was specially used for the disciples of the Vermilion Bird Courtyard to fight. At this time, the Vermilion Bird Terrace was surrounded by people. There were at least a few thousand people. There were new disciples, but most of them were old disciples. Not only that, there were also many elders. This year's newcomer king, who had just entered the courtyard for a month, actually dared to challenge an old disciple who had been in the courtyard for 4 or 5 years. This was rare in the history of the Vermilion Bird Courtyard. Many people were very curious about where Lu Ming's confidence and courage came from. Naturally, they all came to watch. Chief Elder Ning Kong is here. And Ning Feng. Suddenly, someone shouted. Ning Feng and Ning Kong were walking together, and there were many people following them. A group of people walked up to the top of the terrace. Elder Mullins is here too. Really, where is he? At this time, an even louder clamor rang out. Mullins walked over leisurely with lotus steps. Beside her, Feng Wu, Ruan Wu, and the others followed. Chapter 57. Mullins, I heard that you were the one who introduced Lu Ming. It seems like you don't have good foresight. Lu Ming's talent is not bad, but he is too arrogant. He will die young. Ning Kong looked at Mullins and said coldly. Mullins curled her lips and said, I think your precious son is the one who will die young. Is that so? I hope you can still say that later. Ning Kong snorted and waved his sleeves, sitting down at the side. Swoosh. Ning Feng's figure moved, leaping down from the spectator stand. His body was as agile as a swallow. After a few leaps, Ning Feng crossed over 50 meters and appeared on the Vermilion Bird Arena. What an amazing movement technique! Ning Feng has been practicing martial arts for many years, so he can't be underestimated. His low-grade yellow-level movement technique, 3 swipes of the swallow, has already reached the 5th level. Ning Feng has been taught by his father for many years, so it's normal for him to reach this level. But that Lu Ming, how long has it been since he entered the sect? In terms of martial arts, he is definitely not Ning Feng's opponent. That's right. The surrounding disciples were discussing. Lu Ming is here. At this time, a disciple shouted. Sure enough, Lu Ming, Pang Shi, and Hua Qi walked over from a mountain path. I didn't think that Lu Ming would dare to open the arena. He's just courting death. I think he won't even be able to take 10 moves from Senior Ning. 10 moves? I think he'll be lucky if he can take 3 moves. A few disciples beside Ning Kong sneered. As Lu Ming walked over, the crowd naturally dispersed. Lu Ming walked up the Vermilion Bird Arena stage step by step, facing Ningfeng. "Ha Lu Ming, you really dared to come. I thought you would hide in your dorm like a coward." Ningfeng looked at Lu Ming with disdain. "Ningfeng, you think you're worthy?" Lu Ming smiled faintly. "Whether I'm worthy or not, you will know in a moment. Lu Ming, the moment you step onto the arena platform, it's already a battle of life and death. Hee, even if you want to regret now, it's too late." Ningfeng sneered. "Talk too much. Hurry up and make your move. I hope you won't disappoint me." Lu Ming said. "I'll let you down?" Ningfeng laughed out loud as if he had heard a very funny joke. Ningfeng had already been in the Vermilion Bird Courtyard for 5 years. Although his talent wasn't particularly outstanding, it wasn't weak either. Now, there was actually a newcomer who had only been in the sect for a little more than a month saying that he hoped he wouldn't disappoint him. Ridiculous, extremely ridiculous. After that, Ningfeng's expression turned gloomy. "Since you're so eager to die, I'll fulfill your wish. Today, I'll crush your confidence and crush your pride." Ningfeng sneered coldly. His figure flashed as he sent a palm strike towards Lu Ming. A layer of black light shrouded his palm. Zhenqi burst forth from his palm, accompanied by a violent whistling sound. "Low-grade yellow-class martial skill, Black Rock Palm. Is that all you've got? You want to crush me?" Lu Ming smiled faintly as he punched out. Flame Dragon Fist. A fiery aura filled the air as the faint roar of a dragon resounded. The fist aura was as heavy as a mountain. Its power was unstoppable as it heavily collided with Ningfeng's palm. Bang! The fist and palm collided, causing a violent explosion. Waves of hot air swept out in all directions. The two separated immediately after the collision. A figure was forced back 3 steps. This figure was actually Ningfeng. Everyone was stunned. Ningfeng was actually forced back by a single move. How was this possible? From the aura that Ningfeng had just revealed, he had already erupted with the cultivation of the peak of the 6th layer Martial Master. The peak of the 6th layer Martial Master was actually forced back by Lu Ming with a single punch. Unbelievable! How could Lu Ming be so strong? Ningfeng's eyes were also filled with shock. He didn't expect Lu Ming to be so strong. Good, powerful. Senior brother Lu Ming is mighty. In the crowd, Pang Shi loudly cheered. In the stands, Mulin's eyes flashed and a smile appeared on her face. She looked at Ning Kong and said, "It seems that Lu Ming is more skilled." It's still too early to say this." Ning Kong coldly snorted. "This Lu Ming's talent is too amazing. I must kill him today. Otherwise, there will be no place for me in the Vermilion Bird Courtyard in the future." On the Vermilion Bird Courtyard, Ningfeng roared in his heart. Clang! A long sword was unsheathed. Wind Demon Sword Art, Rising Wind and Surging Clouds. At this moment, Ningfeng revealed his ability. Sword Chi like a waterfall suddenly erupted. It broke through the air and violently slashed down at Lu Ming. Lu Ming sneered and also unsheathed his long sword. Sword Chi was like a stream of light, cutting through the air and whistling out. This sword was not the Black Edge Sword, but the sword left behind by his father, the Heavenly Star Sword. The Black Edge Sword was only a high-grade spirit weapon. It was obviously not enough to fight with Ningfeng. But the sword left behind by his father was a high-grade spirit weapon. Only then could he display his full strength. Clang! The two swords clashed and exploded with a shocking boom. Their bodies slightly swayed and then they started fighting again. Clang! Clang! The two swords clashed and sword chi crisscrossed. The two figures were completely engulfed by sword light. Strong, so strong. Lu Ming can actually fight with Ningfeng. Ningfeng's Wind Demon Sword Art is a high-grade yellow-grade sword art. Moreover, it has been cultivated to the 5th level. But Lu Ming can actually fight with Ningfeng with only sword art. The strength of his sword art is not inferior to Ningfeng's at all. It's really incredible. This battle is going to be interesting. Looking at the two people fighting on the Vermilion Bird Courtyard, some senior disciples could not stay calm and started discussing. Wind Demon Sword Art, Wind World Slashing. Wind Demon Sword Art, hurricane destruction. Ning Feng continuously used the powerful moves of the Wind Demon Sword art. In the blink of an eye, the two had exchanged more than 50 moves. Clang. With a loud sound, the two figures separated. Lu Ming, I admit that your strength is not bad. You can actually fight with me to this extent. But today you must die. Now I'll let you see my strength. Boom. Ning Feng's body suddenly emitted a rumbling sound. Following that, his aura surged and a berserk aura burst out from Ning Feng's body. 7th level Martial Master. Ning Feng has broken through to the 7th level Martial Master. Lu Ming is finished. The 7th level Martial Master is not something that the 6th level Martial Master can compare to. Ning Feng has actually broken through. Then Lu Ming is dead for sure. What a pity for a top genius. So what if he's a genius? There are countless geniuses in the world. Every year, who knows how many geniuses die? A genius who hasn't grown up is nothing. When Ning Feng revealed his cultivation of the 7th level Martial Master, almost everyone thought that Lu Ming was finished. In the stands, Mulins, Feng Wu and the rest also revealed expressions of shock and worry. Ha! Ning Kong laughed loudly and said, Mulins, you didn't expect it, right? This time, Lu Ming will definitely die. Mulins's eyes flashed, but she did not respond. In fact, she was not confident in her heart. Could Lu Ming block Ning Feng? Lu Ming, I'll let you experience my peak battle strength now. However, the result you see is death. Ning Feng laughed complacently as a bloody light flashed on his body. Bloodline eruption. His bloodline was a 4th level bloodline. When his bloodline erupted, his battle strength increased by 40%. Wind Demon Sword art. Wind rises and clouds surge. Ning Feng slashed out with his sword. The wind howled as it turned into 7 or 8 sword beams that slashed towards Lu Ming. It was the same move, but it was several times stronger than before. This way, it's more interesting. On the Vermilion Bird Arena, Lu Ming narrowed his eyes. His feet heavily stomped on the stage and his body rushed out like lightning. Chapter 58. Boom. A powerful aura erupted from Lu Ming's body. His true chi surged and his long hair fluttered. At this moment, Lu Ming's aura was no weaker than Ning Feng's. In the battle with Ning Feng, Lu Ming had only used 50% of his strength. But now, it was 100%. Clang. The two of them collided fiercely. Sparks flew as their swords clashed. Streaks of sharp sword chi pierced the air and shot out in all directions. Bang! Bang! After the collision, the two of them retreated several steps at the same time. Damn it, kill! Ning Feng roared and charged at Lu Ming again. Fight! Lu Ming's eyes were like lightning. His long hair fluttered and his body exuded a surging battle intent. He took a step forward and charged at Ning Feng. Clang! Clang! The two of them continued to attack each other. Sword chi flew and danced in the air. It was extremely powerful. In the blink of an eye, dozens of moves had passed and the two of them were evenly matched. How could this be? Impossible? How could this Lu Ming be so strong? Ning Feng was so shocked that he was speechless. With his cultivation of the 7th level of the Martial Master realm and the speed of his superior yellow rank sword technique, he had already reached the 5th level. It could be said that his sword was as fast as the wind and as fast as lightning. However, Lu Ming was able to completely block it. Not only was his true chi not weaker than him, but even the speed of his sword technique was not inferior. He did not know that Lu Ming was cultivating a divine rank cultivation technique. His true chi was 3 times stronger than ordinary true chi. When the true dragon battle technique was only at the 1st level, Lu Ming was able to kill opponents 1 level higher than him. Now that the true dragon battle technique had advanced to the 2nd level, even if Ning Feng was 2 levels higher than Lu Ming, he would not be able to defeat Lu Ming. Not only Ning Feng, but all the spectators around the Vermilion Bird Arena were shocked. It was unbelievable that Lu Ming was able to tie with Ning Feng, who had broken through to the 7th level of the Martial Master realm. They all held their breaths and stared at the arena, afraid that they would disturb the two people on the arena. Clang! Clang! On the Vermilion Bird Arena, The two continued their battle. 7th grade martial master is indeed not weak. However, as long as I activate my bloodline, I can immediately defeat him. However, now is not the time. Moreover, the bloodline of the martial master realm only lasts for 2 minutes. Once the 2 minutes are over, Ningfeng will not be my opponent. Lu Ming pondered. Two silhouettes continuously clashed on the vermilion bird stage, sword chi overflowing in all directions. Soon, they had exchanged over 100 moves. At this moment, the bloody light on Ningfeng's body quickly dissipated. It was time for his bloodline to erupt. Not good. On the grandstand, Ning Kong's expression changed. Clang! On the vermilion bird arena, the two of them clashed again. Bang! This time, Ningfeng was directly sent flying. His face was pale and blood flowed out from the corner of his mouth. Ningfeng is injured. The crowd was in an uproar as they looked at the stage in shock. It's time for Ningfeng's bloodline to erupt. It seems like Ningfeng is going to lose. Ningfeng is actually not a match for Lu Ming. This is really unbelievable. Have you guys realized that Lu Ming still hasn't unleashed his bloodline? What? It seems to be true. I didn't notice this just now. This is too shocking. Genius, a top genius. How is Lu Ming arrogant? He clearly has the ability to do so. Around the vermilion bird arena, whether it was the new disciples, old disciples, or elders, they were all discussing with each other in shock. Senior brother Lu Ming, you can do it. You're the best. Pang Shi was so excited that his face was flushed red. He waved his arms and shouted. Senior brother Lu Ming is mighty. Following that, other disciples shouted. These were all new disciples who joined this year. When they saw that Lu Ming, a disciple who joined the sect at the same time as them, was actually so strong, they couldn't help but feel a burst of pride. What's so great about being an old disciple? There are also new disciples who can defeat you all. At this moment, Lu Ming had become the idol in many people's hearts. This guy. Hua Qi muttered to himself. In the depths of his eyes, there was an additional trace of admiration. He had always been proud and arrogant. When he first met Lu Ming, he had threatened to defeat him in the future. But now, he knew that Lu Ming's talent was not something he could compare to. In the stands, Ruan Hongwu and Feng Wu's mouths were slightly agape as they watched in a daze. Especially Ruan Hongwu. A month ago, Lu Ming had said that he would challenge Ningfeng in a month's time. She was still rather unhappy in her heart and thought that Lu Ming was too arrogant. But now she understood that she was wrong. Lu Ming wasn't arrogant, he was confident, and he had the ability to be confident. Hee, Ning Kong, looks like your precious son is going to lose. On the spectator stand, Mulan laughed happily. She was laughing so hard that her body trembled. Is that so? The outcome hasn't been decided yet? Ning Kong clenched his fists tightly. His eyes revealed killing intent as he said coldly. What? Mulan's couldn't help but have a bad premonition. On the vermilion bird arena. Ningfeng, the time for the bloodline eruption has arrived. Now I'll send you on your way. Lu Ming looked indifferently at Ningfeng and said, Ha, Lu Ming, you want to defeat me? Dream on, you're the one who forced me. Ningfeng laughed. Then, with a wave of his hand, an elixir appeared and he swallowed it. Boom. When Ningfeng swallowed the elixir, a powerful aura suddenly erupted from his body. This aura was powerful and tyrannical. Compared to before, it was twice as strong. Lu Ming die. Ningfeng roared. His eyes were bloodshot. He stomped his feet and with a loud boom, even the fighting stage shook. His body turned into a gust of wind and charged towards Lu Ming. Don't take it head on. Lu Ming's eyes flashed with a trace of seriousness. He used the dragon snake steps and moved to the side. But he was still a step too late. Ningfeng's sword chi swept towards him. Bang! Lu Ming used his long sword to block. A sharp and violent force surged towards him and he couldn't help but slide back by 10 meters. Explosive spirit pill, Ning Kong, you're despicable. You actually used the explosive spirit pill. This fight is already unfair. It's over. In the stands, Mullins suddenly stood up and shouted with an ugly expression. Mullins, what are you trying to do? On the Vermilion Bird stage, there's no rule against using elixirs in a fight to the death. Ning Kong also stood up and sneered. Using elixirs is unfair. How can you talk about a fight to the death? Mullins shouted coldly and was about to rush towards the Vermilion Bird stage. However, Ning Kong released a powerful aura and locked onto Mullins. He sneered and said, Mullins, outsiders are not allowed to interfere in a fight to the death at the Vermilion Bird stage. Are you trying to break the rules? Despicable. Despicable. Mulan gritted her teeth and widened her almond-shaped eyes. However, Ning Kong stared at her intently. At this moment, on the Vermilion Bird stage, Ning Feng had already launched a violent attack. Lu Ming, prepare to die. Sword Art of the Wind Demon. Wind slashes the world. Sword Art of the Wind Demon, Hurricane Destruction. The violent sword Qi tore apart everything in its path. It broke through the air and slashed towards Lu Ming's head. My strength has increased by 2 times. I can only avoid it and find an opportunity to counterattack. Lu Ming's figure moved and he performed the dragon snake steps. As he moved, he blocked the sword aura that slashed toward him. Boom, boom. After 7 to 8 moves, Lu Ming kept retreating. Chapter 59. Ning Feng actually swallowed the explosive spirit pill. How despicable. Looks like Lu Ming is going to lose. Some of the spectators shook their heads and sighed. But there were also people who sneered. After a few more moves, Lu Ming was in even more danger. He was already in a desperate situation. Ning Kong, get out of my way. On the stands, Mullins shouted and threw a palm at Ning Kong. Mullins, as the chief elder, do you want to violate the sect rules? Ning Kong shouted coldly and exchanged a palm with Mullins. Fortunately, the two of them were controlling their palms. Otherwise, the stands would have been shattered by their palms. Despicable! Feng Wu, Ruan Wu, and the others also shouted, but they were also blocked by the people Ning Kong brought. On the Vermilion Bird arena, Ning Feng's attack was like a hurricane, extremely violent. Lu Ming retreated as he fought. But his eyes were extremely bright as he stared at Ning Feng. He was looking for an opportunity. Die, ha die. Ning Feng laughed loudly. Completely suppressing Lu Ming made him incomparably carefree. Lu Ming, you despicable thing, you actually dare to contradict me, actually dare to not give me face, and even dare to fight me to the death. Now tremble regret. Ning Feng kept laughing. Now is the time. At this time, Lu Ming's eyes suddenly lit up. Instead of retreating, he advanced and pounced towards Ning Feng. At the same time, Lu Ming's body flashed with a bloody light, and his bloodline erupted. When his bloodline erupted, it was when Lu Ming was at his strongest. Now, his bloodline had already advanced to level 4. When his bloodline erupted, not only could he devour 50% of others' attacks, but his own strength could also increase by 40%. Lu Ming's action shocked everyone present. What was Lu Ming doing? Courting death? Ning Feng himself was also slightly stunned, then laughed sinisterly. No matter what tricks you play, I'll kill you. I'll crush you. The swift and fierce sword aura turned into a sword aura storm and charged toward Lu Ming. Boom. However, when the sword energy struck Lu Ming's body only trembled slightly. Then he continued to charge towards Ning Feng. Then he waved the sword in his right hand and blocked Ning Feng's long sword, while his left hand punched out heavily. Everything happened in the blink of an eye. Ning Feng did not even have time to react. Bang! Lu Ming's punch landed heavily on Ning Feng's dantian. The surging fist power crazily rushed into Ning Feng's dantian. In an instant, the cyclone in Ning Feng's dantian trembled violently and almost exploded. Ning Feng was like a punctured balloon. The aura on his body suddenly plummeted. In an instant, Ning Feng's aura fell back to the 7th level of the Martial Master Realm. However, it did not stop. It continued to fall until it reached the peak of the 6th level of the Martial Master Realm. Ning Feng had just broken through to the 7th level of the Martial Master Realm, so his cultivation was still unstable. Lu Ming's punch not only defeated the berserk true qi that was produced by consuming the explosive spirit pill, but also knocked him back to his original state, falling to the 6th level of the martial master realm. If it wasn't for the berserk true qi produced by the explosive spirit pill offsetting a portion of the fist strength, this punch would have directly crippled Ningfeng's cultivation. Ah! Ningfeng screamed as his body was sent flying. He fell heavily on the ground more than 10 meters away and vomited blood. Mulins was stunned, Feng Wu Ruanhua was stunned, and Ning Kong was also stunned. Everyone was stunned. Everything happened in an instant, and they didn't even have time to react. What was going on? They had just seen Lu Ming charging towards Ningfeng instead of retreating. They had just thought that Lu Ming was courting death by doing so. Then, they saw Ningfeng being sent flying while screaming miserably. He was vomiting blood. Feng! Ning Kong was the first to react and roared. Ningfeng struggled to get up and looked at Lu Ming in disbelief. He shouted, "How are you fine?" He had clearly hit Lu Ming just now, but Lu Ming seemed to be fine. "Now it's my turn." Lu Ming sneered as he took a step forward and slashed at Ningfeng. Ningfeng was shocked as he raised his sword to block. However, he was only at the peak of the 6th level of the martial master realm and was injured. How could he be a match for Lu Ming? With one move, Ningfeng was forced to retreat as he coughed out large mouthfuls of blood. "Ningfeng, you've only cultivated for a few more years and you want me to regret it? Make me tremble? You're still far from it. I'll send you on your way now." Lu Ming's mouth curled into a sneer as his eyes flashed with cold killing intent. He walked towards Ningfeng step by step. "How dare you?" Lu Ming stopped. On the stands, Ning Kong roared. "Stop!" Lu Ming glanced at Ning Kong and sneered, "Why didn't you ask Ningfeng to stop when he had the upper hand? Now you're asking me to stop? Are you out of your mind?" After saying that, he ignored Ning Kong and slashed at Ningfeng again. Clang, clang. Ningfeng barely managed to block a few moves before he could no longer resist. His body trembled as the long sword in his hand slipped out of his hand. "Father, father, save me!" Ningfeng frantically retreated as he screamed in horror. "Lu Ming, you still dare to attack? You're courting death!" Ning Kong roared furiously. His body was like a goshawk as he pounced towards the vermilion bird arena. However, Mulan's figure moved and followed closely behind, striking a palm at Ning Kong. Ning Kong counterattacked with his palm and the two of them clashed in the air. Boom! With a violent explosion, energy overflowed. The two of them swayed and landed on the ground separately. After landing, Mulan's figure moved and stood in front of Ning Kong. "Mulan, get out of my way!" Ning Kong roared. Mulan smiled charmingly and said, "Ning Kong, the Vermilion Bird Arena is a life and death battle. Outsiders are not allowed to interfere. What are you trying to do? Are you trying to break the sect rules?" Ning Kong's face turned green and white. He was so angry that he almost vomited blood. This was what he said to Mulan's earlier. Now Mulan's returned the words to him. "I don't care. Get lost." Ning Kong roared. "Ning Kong, you're really thick-skinned. You want to go over? Impossible." Mulan's aura locked onto Ning Kong. Looking at Ning Kong's ugly old face, Mulan's felt extremely carefree. At this moment, on the Vermilion Bird Arena, Ningfeng screamed again. Lu Ming punched him hard in the stomach. The violent force of the punch broke several of his ribs. Ningfeng lay on the ground, vomiting large mouthfuls of blood. Lu Ming stepped on Ningfeng's body and looked down at him coldly. "Lu Ming, don't kill me. I beg you, don't kill me." At this moment, Ningfeng was really scared and begged for mercy. "Lu Ming, how dare you kill my son? I'll tear you into pieces." Ning Kong roared angrily. He wanted to rush forward but was blocked by Mulan. "Old man, I'll be waiting." Lu Ming sneered. Then, the sword light slashed down without hesitation. "No!" Ningfeng and Ning Kong roared in unison. Splat. Blood splattered and dyed the Vermilion Bird Arena red. Ningfeng held his throat tightly. His eyes were filled with unwillingness, regret, and fear. Chapter 60. Silence. The entire place was silent as everyone looked at the scene in shock. Lu Ming had really killed Ningfeng. Moreover, he had completely ignored Ningfeng's threat in front of Ningkong. He was audacious and insufferably arrogant. Many senior disciples looked at Lu Ming and felt a chill in their hearts. This was a ruthless person. He was ruthless to his enemies and to himself. "Feng, bastard, I'm going to cut you into pieces." Ningkong roared. His eyes were red like a wild beast that had gone berserk. Bam, bam. He exchanged blows with Mulins continuously. Shock waves swept across and deafening booms were heard. Many of the weaker disciples turned pale from the impact and were forced to retreat. If he wants to kill me, he should be prepared to be killed. Lu Ming looked calm as he said plainly, "You bastard, how can you be compared to Feng? If Feng wants to kill you, you should let him kill you. How dare you retaliate and kill Feng? I'm going to skin you alive." Ningkong roared furiously as he continued to attack. "Ningkong, how dare you disregard the sect rules?" Mulins shouted. "What sect rules? Sect rules are bullshit. How can you be compared to my Feng?" Ningkong had completely gone mad and his eyes were bloodshot. Lu Ming shook his head. He had nothing to say to such a person. Then he looked at the sky and muttered, "It should be time to strike." As soon as he said that, a loud roar was heard from the sky. "Ningkong, are you crazy? Stop it." An elder in a silver robe appeared in the sky. He extended his hand and pressed the air. An extremely strong pressure was generated and pressed down on Ningkong. Bam! Under the pressure, Ningkong had no strength to retaliate. He was pressed to the ground and no matter how hard he struggled, he couldn't move at all. It's the elder in the silver robe. It turns out that the elder in the silver robe has been watching. The other disciples exclaimed when they saw the elder. "Elder Lu, you have to stand up for me. Lu Ming, that bastard, killed Feng." Ningkong roared. Vermilion Bird Arena. A battle of life and death. Since it's a battle of life and death, what wrong did Lu Ming do? But you, Ningkong, how dare you disregard the sect rules? I think you're getting worse. Go back with me and reflect. If you can't figure it out, don't come out. The silver-robed elder waved his hand and a powerful energy surged out, sweeping up Ningkong before he turned into a ray of light and shot through the air. Upon seeing the silver-robed elder take Ningkong away, Lu Ming revealed a faint smile. The reason why he dared to kill Ningfeng in front of Ningkong was not completely a brainless action. Firstly, Ningfeng had repeatedly caused trouble for him and even sent people to kill him. Ningfeng indeed deserved to die. If he didn't kill him, he would definitely find trouble with him later. Secondly, he was certain that there would be a silver-robed elder watching nearby. Through this battle, he had completely revealed his talent and value. Being able to kill an old disciple of the 7th Martial Master realm in just over a month after entering the Vermilion Bird Courtyard, this kind of talent was definitely valued by the upper echelons of the Vermilion Bird Courtyard. How could he allow Ningkong to kill him? Reality proved it. Lu Ming thanks Elder Mulins for your help. Lu Ming cupped his fists and thanked Mulins. Lu Ming, you're not bad. Mulins smiled. Then Lu Ming will take his leave. Lu Ming nodded and left the Vermilion Bird Arena, disappearing into the crowd. The news of this battle spread quickly in the Vermilion Bird Arena and even to the other courtyards. Lu Ming didn't care about it. He returned to the dormitory and sat cross-legged on his bed. Waves of pain came from his body. Lu Ming smiled bitterly. He was seriously injured in this battle. After Ningfeng swallowed the explosive spirit pill, his battle strength increased greatly. Lu Ming was injured when he tried his best to resist. After that, he activated his bloodline and took Ningfeng's attack head-on. Although he swallowed 50% of the attack power, the remaining attack power still made his injuries worse. Looks like I have to buy a defensive spirit weapon like soft armor in the future. Also, I have to cultivate defensive martial skills. Otherwise, it won't be good to keep getting injured like this. Lu Ming smiled bitterly and whispered. When his bloodline activated, although he was extremely powerful, he would still be injured if he had to take other people's attacks head-on. The main reason was that his body was too weak. Other than the protective true qi, he didn't have any other defensive moves. Let's heal first. Lu Ming shook his head and began to circulate the true dragon battle art to control his bloodline and heal his injuries. Whoosh whoosh, in the air, the spiritual energy of heaven and earth quickly gathered towards Lu Ming at an astonishing speed. After Lu Ming's bloodline advanced to level 4, his speed of absorbing the spiritual energy of heaven and earth increased by a large margin. It far surpassed the speed of a level 5 bloodline. Lu Ming estimated that it was at least comparable to a level 7 bloodline. This speed could be said to be very astonishing. However, Lu Ming cultivated the second level of the true dragon battle art, which required 9 times the energy of ordinary true qi. Therefore, just by absorbing the spiritual energy of heaven and earth, his cultivation speed was still not comparable to a level 5 bloodline genius. The spiritual energy of heaven and earth continued to gather and transform into pure true qi. It scattered into the muscles, bones, and internal organs of his body, constantly nourishing Lu Ming's body and healing his injuries. This cultivation lasted for 5 hours. At this time, Lu Ming opened his eyes. After 5 hours of cultivation, Lu Ming's injuries were much better. In another 2 days, he would be completely healed. It smells so good. Suddenly, a rich barbecue fragrance floated in from outside. Who's barbecuing outside? Lu Ming was a little puzzled. He opened the door and walked out. In the yard, Pang Shi and Hua Qi were barbecuing meat. Seeing Lu Ming come out, Pang Shi was overjoyed. He smiled and said, "Senior brother Lu Ming, you're done cultivating. Come, have some barbecued meat. This is the meat of a blood antelope. It's very delicious and can replenish blood. It's very useful after you're injured." Lu Ming's heart warmed. He smiled and said, "Pang Shi, did you prepare this for me? The meat of a blood antelope is not cheap. How can I afford it?" Pang Shi scratched his head and said, "Flower Addict bought it especially for you. I used to hunt, so barbecuing meat is my specialty. So I'm responsible for it." Hua Qi's face was cold. He said, "Lu Ming, don't misunderstand. I don't want to treat your injuries out of kindness. Because I will definitely defeat you. If you're injured, there will be repercussions. Wouldn't that be very boring?" Stubborn. Pang Shi curled his lips. "Hey, Big Stone, I'm warning you, don't call me Flower Addict." Hua Qi said coldly, "Aren't you called Flower Addict? If I don't call you that, how can I call you that?" Pang Shi said doubtfully. "Do." Hua Qi was tongue-tied. "Ha." Lu Ming laughed. He picked up a piece of golden barbecued meat and took a bite. The meat was tender and fragrant. The taste was definitely top-notch. Especially after swallowing, there was a warm current flowing through his body. It was very comfortable. Chapter 61. Lu Ming's mouth was full of oil as he finished a piece of barbecued meat in a few bites. "Big Stone, your barbecue skills are not bad." Lu Ming praised. I've been hunting since I was young and I also like to eat meat. This was all discovered by myself." Pang Shi laughed and then took out a jar of wine from the side and said, "Come, Lu Ming, this is medicinal wine. It's also bought by the Flower Addict. It won't do any harm to your injuries, but you can't have meat without wine. Come, then let's drink to our heart's content." Lu Ming laughed. The 3 of them each had a jar of wine, ate the meat in big mouthfuls, and drank large bowls of wine. A few hours later, a blood antelope was completely finished by the 3 of them. Several jars of wine were also drunk by the 3 of them. Pang Shi and Hua Qi were both dead drunk. Hua Qi's ugly face also disappeared without a trace after getting drunk. He put his arm around Pang Shi's shoulder and shouted, "You bunch of trash, I'll definitely go back in the future. I'll kill all of you." However, Pang Shi shouted, "Senior brother Lu, you're so powerful. I know you'll definitely win. I want to become a powerful person like Senior brother Lu. That way, father and mother will definitely be proud of me." As the 2 of them talked, they fell asleep in the courtyard. Lu Ming smiled and staggered into the room. Then, he began to circulate the true dragon battle art. After a while, the alcohol completely disappeared. Lu Ming continued to circulate his energy to heal his injuries. The medicinal power of the blood antelope and the medicinal wine circulated throughout his body. Lu Ming's injuries healed even faster. In the blink of an eye, 2 days had passed and Lu Ming's injuries had already healed. After his injuries healed, Lu Ming did not slack off and continued to cultivate, because he knew that the dangers and difficulties he would face in the future would become greater and greater. Ning Kong and the Duanmu family were mortal enemies. The other party would definitely not let him go. Therefore, he had to increase his strength as soon as possible. 10 days later. Cultivating like this is too slow. With my rich and condensed true qi, it will take at least a year to reach the 6th level of the martial master realm. Lu Ming pondered. Resources, I lack resources. Lu Ming sighed. Right now, he was extremely poor. He only had the storage ring that he got from Duanmu Ju and nothing else. Furthermore, he still owed Mulin's 3,000 contribution points. I have the Supreme Divine Palace, so the storage ring is useless. I'll take this storage ring and exchange it for something. Then, I'll take on some missions and earn some contribution points. Lu Ming made up his mind and headed towards the contribution hall. This storage ring was of the lowest grade and was worth 150,000 taels of silver. However, in the contribution hall, it was only equivalent to 130,000 taels of silver. After all, there were so many disciples in the Mystic Essence Sword sect. It required a lot of resources to operate. Therefore, the price of various materials and items collected by the contribution hall was lower than the market price. This way, he could earn a difference in price. 130,000 taels of silver, all converted into contribution points, a total of 1,300 points. Senior, I would like to ask, how many contribution points do I need to view a high-grade yellow rank defensive martial skill? Lu Ming asked. Martial skill? Martial skills can be found in the library. But let me tell you, martial skills can only be rented. A high-grade yellow rank defensive martial skill will cost at least 5,000 contribution points. What? 5,000 contribution points? Isn't that too expensive? Lu Ming almost jumped up. Defensive martial skills are much rarer and more precious than movement martial skills and attack martial skills. Of course they are more expensive. If you were to buy them outside, you wouldn't be able to buy them without a few million taels of silver. The elder in the contribution hall said. Lu Ming was speechless. However, when he thought about it, it made sense. The Lu clan was such a big clan, but they only had one high-grade yellow rank martial skill. It was treated as a family treasure. One could only imagine how valuable a high-grade yellow rank martial skill was. It seemed that defensive martial skills should be put aside for now. Senior, are there any defensive soft armors here? Lu Ming asked again. Of course there are soft armors, but the defensive ones are not cheap. What grade do you want? The elder asked. How many contribution points are needed for low-grade LV2 and mid-grade LV2? Lu Ming asked. A low-grade LV2 soft armor costs 800 contribution points. A mid-grade LV2 soft armor costs at least 2,000 contribution points. Then let's exchange for a low-grade LV2 soft armor. Lu Ming had no choice but to exchange for a low-grade LV2 soft armor. However, you get what you pay for. The 800 contribution points were not spent in vain. The crimson scaled snake armor was made from the skin of a Class 9 LV2 demonic beast, the crimson scaled snake. It was very light and soft and extremely tough. After Lu Ming kept the crimson scaled snake armor, he walked out of the contribution hall and headed to the mission hall. Halfway there, he found a deserted place and changed into a black cloak to cover himself. He had to be careful of the Duanmu clan. If he went out for a mission and the Duanmu clan sent a few martial grandmaster experts to kill him, he wouldn't even have the strength to fight back. There was nothing wrong with being careful. Soon, Lu Ming arrived at the mission hall. The mission hall was the place where the Mystic Essence Sword sect issued and accepted missions. There were 2 types of missions in the mission hall. The first type was issued by the disciples and elders of the Mystic Essence Sword sect. Each mission would have a corresponding reward. The other type was collected from outside the Mystic Essence Sword sect. For example, if the Lu clan issued a mission, the Mystic Essence Sword sect would collect the mission. After the disciples of the Mystic Essence Sword sect completed the mission hall would collect a certain fee. The mission hall was very spacious and occupied an area larger than the contribution hall. After walking in, there was a huge hall. On one side of the hall, there was a counter. That was where the missions were handed in. On the other side, there were several huge metal walls. These metal walls were made by an inscriber. On the metal wall, there were missions that were constantly scrolling. These missions had the specific content, time limit, reward, and so on written on them. They were very clear and easy to read. Lu Ming stood under the screen and looked. Collect blood-lingering flowers? Suddenly, Lu Ming's eyes lit up. He saw a mission that he was interested in. This was a mission issued by an inscriber in the Mystic Essence Sword sect. As long as the blood-lingering flowers were collected within 3 months, the reward was 100 contribution points per blood-lingering flower. The more the better. Blood-lingering flowers were in the eastern part of the Blazing Sun Empire and could only be found in the Dark Blood Mountain. Moreover, the blood-lingering flower itself didn't cost 100 contribution points. It seemed that the inscriber was in a hurry to give such a high price. Most importantly, there was a type of dark blood stone in the Dark Blood Mountain. It was an important material to cultivate the 3rd level of the true dragon fighting art. It was even needed for the 4th level. This was the reason why Lu Ming was interested. Going to the Dark Blood Mountain was killing 2 birds with 1 stone. Let's see if there are any other missions. Chapter 62. Escort Mission? The reward is actually 100,000 silver and it's also to go to the Dark Blood Mountain. After looking for a while, Lu Ming's eyes lit up again. He saw an escort mission issued by Yukong City's Zhu family. Escort a person to the Dark Blood Mountain. The reward is 100,000 silver. This is it. Without hesitation, Lu Ming decided to accept this mission, because it happened to be on the way. Then, Lu Ming walked to a counter and registered the 2 missions he wanted to accept. This is the mission card issued by the Zhu family, please keep it well. On the counter, there was a young woman with a sweet smile. At this time, she handed an iron plate to Lu Ming. The word "to" was written on the iron plate. Thank you. Lu Ming took the iron plate, smiled slightly, then turned and left. 2 hours later, on the main road of the Mystic Essence Sword sect, Lu Ming rode the green scale horse and left. 5 days later, a travel-worn Lu Ming arrived at Yukong City. Yukong City is very majestic and huge. It is an upper-middle city, several times larger than Fiery Wind City. On the street, people come and go. It is very prosperous. Zhu family is known as the #1 family in Yukong City. However, Lu Ming is not in a hurry to go to the Zhu family because the appointed time is tomorrow. There is still 1 day, so there is no hurry. Lu Ming found an inn and cleaned himself up. He then walked around Yukong City to experience the local conditions and customs. The next day, Lu Ming headed to the Zhu family's house. The Zhu family's courtyard walls are high and several times more majestic than the Lu family's. Stop, this is the Zhu family's mansion. Unauthorized people are not allowed to enter. At the gate of the Zhu family, there are 4 strong men guarding. At this time, they stopped Lu Ming. These 4 strong men, each of them has the cultivation of 9th level martial warrior. I am here to complete the mission. Lu Ming smiled and took out the mission card issued by the Zhu family. Sure enough. The leader of the strong men took a look and looked at Lu Ming with some surprise. It seems that he is surprised that Lu Ming is so young. Come with me. The burly man in the lead returned the mission card to Lu Ming and took the lead to head inside. Lu Ming followed. After a few turns, they came to a hall. Walking into the hall, they found that there are some people sitting on both sides of the hall. There are a total of 7 people. These 7 people came in all shapes and sizes, and were all different from each other. On the right side of the hall sat 3 people. 2 men and 1 woman. They were all around 50 years old. The 3 of them wore black robes with skulls on them. Their bodies emitted a gloomy aura. On the left, a burly man in his 40s or 50s with red hair sat at the head of the table. Beside the brawny man was a man and a woman. The man was an old man with white hair, and the woman was a middle-aged woman in her 30s. At the bottom was a young man in his 20s. This man was hugging a long sword and looked like a noble young master. As soon as Lu Ming arrived, the 7 people in the main hall looked over in unison. When they saw Lu Ming's age, they looked at him with disdain. Young hero, they are the ones who accepted this mission. Please wait here. My master will be here soon. The gatekeeper said. Okay. Lu Ming nodded, walked in, and sat down below the 3 people in the skeleton robes. A kid who hasn't even grown out his hair came. Is he crazy about money? He actually came to accept this mission. At this time, a low sneer came from the red-haired strong man. Lu Ming's eyes flashed. He looked at the red-haired strong man, then smiled faintly and ignored him. What a coward! The red-haired strong man sneered. Seeing that Lu Ming did not even dare to talk back, the others looked at him with disdain. Haha. At this time, a loud laugh came. A man in his 40s walked in and cupped his fists. Sorry to keep you waiting. I am the 2nd elder of the Zhu family, Zhuchuan. Greetings. You are welcome, 2nd elder. These people cupped their fists in response. Zhu Chuan walked to the top of the hall and said, Okay, this time the Zhu family has issued a total of 8 mission cards. Now that everyone is here, I will briefly explain the content of this mission. To be honest, this time it is mainly because my Zhu family's ancestor was seriously injured in the Dark Blood Mountain. He needs the blood of a direct descendant of the Zhu family to save his life. He also needs a vitality supplement pill. So this time, the main purpose is to escort the eldest daughter of the Zhu family and the vitality supplement pill in her hands to the Dark Blood Mountain. Because there are many powerful bandits and horse bandits on the way to the Dark Blood Mountain, I need everyone to escort. As long as you send the person and the pill to my Zhu family's ancestor, it will be enough. The reward is 100,000 silver taels per person. Do you have any other questions? Zhu Chuan glanced at the 8 people in the hall. Of course there is a question. The red-haired man stood up and curled his lips. 2nd elder, 8 people escorting together. I want to ask, have you tested the strength of these people? Zhu Chuan was taken aback. We have not, but you are Bloodhand Wuemo, and these 3 are the famous Yin Mountain 3 ghosts. Their names have shaken more than a dozen big cities. Who doesn't know them? I naturally know the strength of the Yin Mountain 3 ghosts. I am afraid that some of them are just there to make up the numbers. They don't have any strength and just want to eat and drink and earn 100,000 silver taels. How about this? The Yin Mountain 3 ghosts and I will be in charge of this mission. The others can scram and split their silver taels with the 4 of us. This is better. Wu Mo sneered. Bang. As soon as Wu Mo's voice fell, the noble young master slammed the table and said with a cold face, Wu Mo, who are you telling to scram? Wu Mo sneered a few times. I am calling you, can't you tell? Damn it. 2 brats who are still wet behind the ears want to borrow the power of Bloodhand Wu Mo to earn 100,000 taels of silver? After he finished speaking, he glanced at Lu Ming and said with disdain. The noble young master's face turned completely cold. He said coldly, Bloodhand Wuemo, I think you don't want your hands anymore. Wuemo suddenly stood up and looked coldly at the noble young master. He said, Because of your words, I will cripple you today. Whoosh! As soon as he finished speaking, Wuemo slammed his palm toward the noble young master. In the process, his palm quickly turned red and a bloody smell spread out. What a powerful blood hand seal. Wu Mo's blood hand seal has reached a new level. The white-haired old man's face changed. Early 6th level martial master cultivation, low-grade yellow rank martial skill. However, he has only cultivated it to the 3rd level, mastery. Lu Ming cast a slight glance. Wu Mo's cultivation level was clear at a glance. You are courting death. Clang! The noble young master shouted coldly and unsheathed his sword. Like a cold bolt of lightning, he stabbed at Wu Mo. The speed was so fast that Wuemo was shocked. He hurriedly retreated and dodged the sword. However, following that, sword rays began to move toward Wuemo in an unending stream. The sword light flashed like clouds and flowing water. Mid-6th level Martial Master Cultivation, low-grade yellow rank sword skill, 4th level. Lu Ming's eyes moved. You're tuning in to the Han Li's Immortal Journey YouTube channel. Don't forget to subscribe and join us on this journey to catch the most captivating stories.